Hey everybody, welcome to Rider Club Radio, the only podcast on the internet that has 3 dicks for the price of 2. I'm your host, Jeff.
And I'm Liam.
I'm Max.
And you forgot the 4th dick.
Oh no!
Oh, no.
You have a new guest host.
Fuck.
That's a real host now.
Someone invited me back, and I didn't turn it down.
Tell everyone what your name is.
Oh, I'm Tomaz, if you didn't know.
Fucking idiot.
Which-
Anyway,
Hey.
Tomaz has been on the program several times before, but you probably wouldn't know that since we relaunched 2 episodes ago. So now he's back as a long-term host, unless he fucks it up the first
he
time.
dies
Is he the
Yeah.
is he the double dead guy now, or
No, I'm just... I never actually died. That was a big, long-running joke that you guys had about... I don't know, it was some stupid joke.
What's a joke?
There's
something
no
to do
humor
with
here.
your life?
Oh my
What is humor? Anyway, this month we watched ourselves some Kamen Rider Build,
Yeah!
and I actually don't remember what episodes we watched, so we're off to a rollicking good
It's like
start.
I can.
It was
do you need some
14, 15, and 16.
13, 14, 15, and 16. We got.
Okay.
Oh,
Yeah, we got.
I thought one of
this
them
is
was
our first
skipped over.
episode with 4.
What?
No.
No, we got
because I thought
13.
there was like a golf or something, or...
That was the block before, I believe.
Oh,
Yeah, it was last month.
Mm-hmm.
This fucking consummate professionals on this program.
hey man, there was a lot that happened this month.
It's true.
So it was a busy
13,
month.
14, 15, and 16 is what we watched. And Liam and I actually finished Choujin Sentai Jetman, and we'll have our final thoughts. And what a doozy of an ending that was.
Yeah, holy
Final
shit.
word.
And we'll do some emails as well. We actually got some this time.
Cool.
But first, Liam, why don't you tell us what happened this month on Kamen Rider Build?
Okay, so we're gonna start with episode 13. In this episode, Sento, he's on the phone. If you remember at the end of last month, Sento's on the phone with Nabashima, and Nabashima's like, "Dude, someone gave me the order to frame Banjo Ryuga, and his name was..." And that was the end of the episode. So in this episode, we still don't find out what the name was. We just find out that it was Stalk. So it's Stalk that tells him, and Sento's super depressed because he finds out who Stalk is, and he's like, "Fuck, that's terrible. I don't know what to do." He hides downstairs. Everyone has to bait him back up with fish. And it's a big fucking mess
favorite
at the
dried
pit.
fish.
Wait a second, did this happen? Is this a
Wait.
real thing that happened?
It was fish?
I don't know what it was. I'm pretty sure it was fish on a little grill, and they were like wafting it towards. Remember that? They're wafting it towards
yeah.
the
On
fridge.
the
Okay, I
tiny
do
little
remember that.
camping
This was a
grill.
lifetime ago.
This was the holidays were so fucking busy. I forgot everything. So
Yeah.
I'm here to help everybody. I'm gonna recap
Yeah.
it all so we can all get it fresh.
Thank you.
So they waft him. They bait him up with some fish. He's still depressed. But meanwhile, Stalk meets up with Rogue in the forest, and he's like, "Hey, Rogue, Gentoku, they're hiding. Nanba's got the box, and they're hiding it in a Nanba facility, and you can't go there because you're the government and you're friends with Nanba, but you have to fucking send someone there. Also, let's fight for no reason in this forest." They have a big fight. Stalk wins, and then he tells them all that shit, and he fucks off. Meanwhile, Sento and Soichi, just to get you all riled up for the twist that's coming up, they have a little discussion about, like, "Hey, aren't we the best friends? Aren't I your father figure, Sento?" And they talk about how Sento would go out and fight, and he'd come back, and Soichi would be like, "Welcome home, son." And Sento would be like, "Thanks, Dad."
And then they hug.
And they hug, and they kiss, and they eat rice and shit.
They buy each other presents at Christmas. And...
It's...
They kiss?
What?
They kiss?
Sento and meets up with Rogue, and Rogue says, "Hey, Sento, you need to go and get the box back from Nanba Heavy Industries." So Sento goes. He and I felt like it was going to be some kind of operation, but it's just him and Banjo just walking in the front door and transforming, just beating the ever-loving shit out of everybody that gets in their way. And
They dropped the entire pretense of dressing up to get into this thing and, like, sneaking in and everything. They just go in and fucking beat everyone's ass.
Now they know
and
who
take
we
it.
are. Fucking whatever.
They grab the box
It's-
and rock it out.
Yeah. They have to do Christmas shopping, and they don't have fucking time. So they go in, and they get the cube back, but Stalk appears, and they fight, and Sento's like, aha, I have a secret new form that I didn't tell anyone about. It's Octopus Light. Nobody knew. And he beats the shit out of Stalk. Stalk can't handle it. He doesn't expect bright lights and octopus tentacles, so he's beaten back.
Who would, really?
Yeah, like, how do you beat an octopus? They're kind of immortal.
They're squishy, yeah.
True.
Tough to get a handle on.
Unstoppable
They got
beings. Octopi.
8 lives, right? That's what it is.
Nature's ultimate killing machine, truly. They get the cube back, they take it back to the pit, and they're like, yeah, we got the cube back, sick. And then Soichi steals the cube and a bunch of bottles and is about to jet out of there. And then Sento's like, Soichi, I fucking knew it was you. I'll chase you into the night. And they run off into the night, and that's episode 13. So, guys, what did you think of this episode?
Well, Soichi being Stalk was kind of like the given.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, we talked about this before. I think we outright said that if it turns out that Soichi is Stalk, that will be super lame, because it's so expected.
Mm-hmm.
They kind of drew it out a lot in this episode. I was going to say they did a good job of, like, making it have emotional, like, an impact emotionally, but that happens next episode more than it does this one.
Spoilers!
So it's kind of like drawing it out. Fuck you. It's drawing it out, this episode. But just as a standalone episode, I thought it was a good episode.
I mean, it was definitely good.
I really don't have any issue with the whole, it's totally expected that Soichi's Stalk, and, we saw this coming, and they're kind of setting it up, and it works okay. It's like, I don't really feel like it necessarily has to be a complete surprise in order for it to be something interesting that's going on. At the very least, I like the idea that the show is having of, and I can go into this more later, of how Sento is like, usually the trope with Kamen Rider has always been, person is taken over, or person is captured and like turned into some sort of man-machine monster, whatever, by some organization, and then he fights back against them with their own technology. Well, here, he's using his own technology to fight back against the stuff, but again, we'll go back into this later.
Yeah.
That's an interesting point that I was going to bring up, but fuck it. Like, everybody's seen all these episodes, or they shouldn't be listening to this podcast.
Yeah.
Spoilers for stuff that happens beyond. But, we read some spoilers about this series, a little blurb that described what the series was going to be before it started. And this little blurb said that Kiryu Sento, the main character, Kamen Rider Build, is the creator of the Smash Monsters who call him Father.
What?
And we thought that was debunked.
I think you're thinking of X-Aid.
Yeah, you're thinking of X-Aid.
Shit!
Yeah.
Well, that was a hint for X-Aid.
That was
that was a hint for Build. They just put it out ahead of time by accident.
Must have been it, yeah. I have an issue with this episode. It's they do a thing just in this episode where they try to give you these flashbacks to make it seem like, oh look, Sento and Soichi, aren't they so close? I really wish they could have like interspersed that more throughout the show. I feel like it would have hit harder if it was something that was more set up earlier on, that like they're such close friends and they have a kind of father-son relationship, and if they had shown that a little earlier than this particular episode where everything goes bad. It feels like right now what they're doing is like, oh, we need to set up the emotional impact in the same episode where we have the twist, which felt a little cheap, a little rushed.
Do you think it's a Chief Honganji type situation, like from Drive, where the actor is just like out on a comedy tour or something at the same time, so they couldn't use him as much?
Yeah, you know what? That's not.
I don't really
crazy.
know how much of it can be used as an excuse, because they had those scenes, and they could have just used them earlier instead of using them as a flashback. I think that's a valid point. It doesn't really bug me as much as you maybe. Because I still feel like it's an effective, piece of it's an effective part of the story. It's relevant. It might not be told in the best way. I think it would be more interesting, but maybe because they have so much else that they have to cover in Build, because they haven't really taken like a story break. There hasn't been, you know, a 2-episode arc where they just fight a monster and nothing else happens. That hasn't happened in Build yet. So maybe it's that they have so much story in this, and that's possible considering what happens in the, you know, Build 16, that they had to rush it out. But I don't know how much of that can be used as an excuse because, you know, like I said, they had some of these scenes already shot, or, you know, they shot them for this episode, and they could have just done it a little bit more in some of the earlier episodes. But I still think that it's, you know, it's nice to mention. I still think it's an effective, you know, way to say that, you know, they were building a relationship. And
Build. Yeah.
and then it sort of crumbles apart, and, you know, it turns out that he was, you know, using Sento and all these other people for his own means, and, you know, this mystery behind him, and, you know, how he ends up having these powers that can change people's fucking faces. It's weird shit. But it's interesting, at the very least. Like, all of this has been interesting. There hasn't been an element of the story that's been like, oh, well, that's stupid, and blah, blah, blah. I haven't felt like that about Build yet.
There's no, like, dumb, pointless subplot where you're just like, yeah, get through this. Who cares?
Yeah.
Everything connects.
Yeah, there isn't, like, the 2-episode story arc kind of business like we had in Drive, or what was it? Ghost.
Ghost had a
Which
most,
isn't
yeah.
which isn't a bad
Most
structure
series,
necessarily.
really.
It's just been done so many times in the past few years that it's like, okay, so it's this again.
Yeah, a purely episodic story can be a fun. Like Kuga is like 100% episodic.
Yeah.
It's a great show. It's just it's nice to have a show every once in a while that's got like a very consistently paced plot. Yeah,
Like
more
Gaim.
continuity. Like what?
Can you think
Like Gaim.
Can you think of like Gaim?
Yeah.
Can you think of a series though that had the reveal that like a character that was on friendly terms with the hero is suddenly the villain, where they didn't parade out the bunch of clips that aren't actually from the show of them hanging out and being friends and shit?
You mean
Because that happens in everything.
they just make new scenes for the flashback, you mean?
Yeah, exactly.
Well, that scene that Liam was talking about when they're like, where Sento came home, and he was like, "Oh, welcome home, son," and all that junk. Like that was a new scene.
Yeah.
But at the same
brand
time, there was
spanking
like the flashbacks of them just like doing silly stuff. But I don't know.
Flashbacks of finding him in the rain gets used a lot.
Yeah.
The next few
Throughout the whole
episodes.
Throughout the whole series, Soichi's character has kind of been unraveling. I'm not sure why Sento was just like, something's up with this guy.
Yeah, he does, though. Earlier in the series, if you remember, this is like a narrative weak point in the series for me. And I understand a lot of people probably won't feel this way. But I think I may have even brought it up in the episode where Sento's like, look, Soichi, where'd you get this fucking panel? And he's like, oh, it fell off. And then Sento's like, all right.
Yeah.
I thought he was gonna be like in the back of his mind, like, oh, some shit's up with Soichi, and I know it. But he just completely drops it. He's like, well, I'll believe you.
Or I was the one who hit the Pandora's box, and he was like, oh, okay.
Why were you there? What were you doing? What were your plans? Why are you here now? How come no one's hunting you?
Why did you hit the box? That would have been my first question. Why did you hit it? Did you think it was a Mario box?
I was curious.
Why?
I wanted to see what was inside, okay? Don't judge me.
There was a driving force from Mars that made me, or was it the moon?
Something.
I think
Fucking-
it was Mars.
Something.
Yeah, it was Mars.
He's actually an alien. Uh-oh.
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 Fucking Bandora is up there in space influencing him.
Yo. That's a Rider Club Radio TM copyright theory.
Yeah.
Soichi the spaceman was replaced by Soichi the alien who came back to Earth.
Soichi was never a spaceman.
Stalk has the power to change faces. Who's to say he didn't change his own face? Ooh.
That's true.
Good
That
lord.
is copyright. That is copyright Max Hollis.
The whole
That
face
is
changing
his
thing
theory.
just feels like that's probably the worst part of the narrative in this show so far, just because it leaves so many possibilities open that
It's
you
so
can't really
convenient.
believe. It's very convenient, and you can't believe a lot of the information that's given to you throughout the show because it doesn't. It's hard to know what information is reliable information and which is a red herring or which is just some bullshit that they're going to pull out from under the rug from you later, or something that they'll later say was planned all along when really it was just a loophole they were leaving open for themselves to fill later.
Like, for all we
At least
fucking
in this
know,
series, you have some sort of a reason behind it, and it's not just a giant fucking plot hole that they roll out later with a new explanation for it, like every other Rider series.
I'm willing to give them the benefit of the doubt because the show has been so solid so far.
for all we fucking know, Sento and Gentoku switched faces between episode 14 and 15 and just have been living each other's lives ever since. There's no clue.
Like, Soichi obviously has some sort of a master plan. Like, he has been pulling these strings in the background, like he... fuck, we're discussing all these episodes already, but, like, he completely fucked over... what the hell is the devil scientist's name?
Oh, Katsuragi.
Katsuragi.
Takumi.
Katsuragi. It completely fucking ruins Katsuragi's plan to not be part of Faust anymore, and like turns him into Sento and all this other shit. Like, he has some sort of a plan. And in this episode, we get to see, like, the curtain gets drawn back and we see, like, the nefarious side of what's been happening with Sento. It's a little crushing for our heroic narrative. Like, I'm sure there were children at home who just felt, like, confused and didn't know what to do with their lives any longer. Because their hero's been used by a villain the whole time.
He's not who he seems.
And it's not entirely a new idea, Oh, you were playing along with my plan the whole time. But it's interesting because it's a villain that wasn't necessarily established. Like, it's not someone that you were looking to see if they were, manipulating anyone, or you were suspicious of why things were going on. It was just all of a sudden, oh yeah, by the way, this was all my plan, and I was never on your side, and, fuck you, I'm gonna go do my own thing now.
Yeah, there was this little television series called Gargoyles.
Oh
I don't know if you guys watched that.
Oh no.
Where that exact thing, that, like, actually you were playing along to my plan the whole time, can go wrong, and I hope Bill doesn't fall into this. But on Gargoyles, there's a villain named Xanatos, and everything the heroes did to destroy his plans was actually part of his bigger plan. However, the writers weren't the same throughout the whole series, so his bigger plan just never happened.
Oh.
That would be something to avoid. Is just saying, this is all part of my plan, and then the show ends before you find out what the plan even was.
Yeah. Like, he just, like, in the actual show, he gets completely fucked over because it turns out that, like, the fair folk have been using him the whole time or whatever. The show gets nuts.
I bet.
But his big plan never happens, and eventually he's pretty much a good guy. And the show ends because it has nowhere else to go.
Did you binge watch this
so
like a
be
month
careful.
ago or something? Okay.
No. I just remember it from when I was a kid.
I have that
But,
curse for some things.
Just remember that if you're writing a story, listeners, or whoever in the world, if you're writing a story, don't use this idea and then go nowhere with it.
Make sure
And
to
that's
have
my
a
fear.
conclusion.
Like,
That's my fear for Build, that it's gonna, like, a bigger villain's gonna show up at some point, like, what happened at the end of the last episode, maybe? And the whole, like, my giant plan for the world is gonna just slowly disappear.
Or it might end up sort of like how Drive ended up, where, we have these villains that are doing their thing, and then we have Bono, and we have Gord Drive, and we have this computer in a room that you have to blow up.
Yeah, fucking Gord Downey showing up in the last bit of the
They
episode.
already did that. They did that, like, earlier in Drive, though, when they had, what's-his-face? Like, the big bad Royd Mude show up.
Iceman.
Killed
Freeze.
Freeze,
Yeah.
yeah.
Freeze. Yeah, he was already, like, the latecomer villain, and then he gets fucked over and dies, and then we get Gold Drive.
And then we had that villain...
spoilers, I guess.
we had that villain in Double Weather.
Yeah, who also gets fucked over and replaced right at the
Same
end.
guy,
so.
actually. No, he's not.
They both have some sort of freeze power that they use.
Interesting.
That's
The
true.
connections.
Anyway, this episode 13.
I thought the reveal was fine. It was a proper setup plot twist, little obvious. Like a really good plot twist will be something that you don't necessarily see coming, but you can look back and say, "Oh, there was a hint there. There was a hint there. There was a hint there. I get it now."
The fucking like slow pan over that showed like in the car with the Professor Nanba, like businessman Nanba. He's not a professor.
Yeah.
They like pan over and the reporter lady's there, and she's actually been working for him the whole time. And then you suddenly it clicks. No wonder she's forced herself into this situation and everything.
Yeah.
No wonder she has all this interest. That was a good reveal.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was.
You look back, and you go, "Oh, yeah, that's her motivation."
When
I
you
get it
say
now.
"oh
That
shit"
makes sense.
out loud, and
Yeah.
that's a good reveal.
Yeah. Absolutely, and I did.
This one's
However,
just like it's,
I would argue that not necessarily every reveal has to be like that, because if you do leave foreshadowing clues and the audience picks up on them, then you're actually informing them rather well. And not to think about rewatches at this point, but if you just consider from a story perspective, a good story doesn't necessarily have to be a surprise. Like, if you read a story once, you can still enjoy it.
It's true.
Yeah.
Even if you
we're
know all the
not-
surprises. So
I don't think any of us want the narrative to suffer just so that our expectations are subverted, not to steal a joke from another show.
if it subverts expectations, then it's good.
Yeah, if it would have just turned out that it was some random fucking person, like if it turned out to be Katsuragi Takumi's mother or whatever.
I could mention
It's
a
just-
Star Wars spoiler, but I won't.
Don't. It's not the subversion that really matters to us. It's that there's a point where you've dropped too many hints and it's become painfully obvious, and you're just kind of dragging it out.
Oh, you mean like
And
Chaser?
Chaser,
Yes.
yeah, where like everyone knew
It
right
al-
away.
Like it almost got to that point with Soichi, but thankfully they cut it off.
They came right out, like episode 13, pretty early. Came right out
Yeah.
and just said, "Yeah, he's a villain. We're not going to drag this shit out to like 40 and have everybody look like fucking idiots not knowing."
Yeah,
Which I'm
which is
thankful for.
appreciated.
And it
Yeah.
definitely leaves
very
a lot more
appreciated.
room for other things.
Yeah.
Speaking of other
I
things,
think-
there's a lot more on the plate after 16, but
Yeah, let's
Yes.
move on. Let's move on to episode 14. How's that sound?
Okay.
sure.
Sure.
All right. So, episode 14.
wha-
They run off into the night, Sento and Soichi. They run off into the night, and Soichi just kind of runs out of steam because he's Japan old, which is like 30. You're like an old man. So he's like,
Yes.
fuck, I'm old. I can't run anymore. Sento catches up to him, and they have a big fight. Sento gets his ass handed to him, and Soichi walks off with all the stuff, the bottles and the box. He gets out of here. But in the commotion...
Takes everything.
He flashed him
really-
with the box, too.
Yeah, in the
Oh, yeah.
commotion, Sento gets his hands on an empty bottle that's got some, like, Pandora energy in it. And he's like, "Oh, I'll use this shit. This is good. I'll take this." So he gets that. Soichi goes back to Nanba Heavy Industries and he says, "Look, I got everything. Fucking, it's great. But the bottles are all fakes." Heaven knows why he didn't make a fake box to go with them, but he made a bunch of fake bottles. So
He's also in
Soichi-
Dan Masamune's office.
Yes.
If he would have made the fake box, he wouldn't have the bottle with the energy in it.
That's true.
Aha! In-universe explanation, Lee.
Yeah.
Take that shit.
Well, hang on. How was Sento to know that he would get hit with a box that would put energy inside of the bottle by accident?
Maybe
He wouldn't.
He's
It's just
a
a random
genius.
happenstance.
maybe just carries around empty bottles.
yeah.
Maybe just in case
He's
they
a-
scrape up
he's a-
against something magic.
Yep.
Tensai
He's
physicist.
a Tensai Butsuri something.
Tensai gamer.
Yeah, Tensai Gamer.
Yeah.
Fine, yeah.
The Tensai gamer builder.
Bill, too.
So
I'm sorry.
So he's got the box, but he doesn't have the bottles. He just has these fake plastic toys now available in Mandarake. And they're back at the pit. The journalist lady, whose name I don't remember, I'm sorry,
Sawa.
is talking. Well, Sawa, thank
Sawa.
you. Sawa is talking to Sento, And he says, look, here's all the exposition regarding Soichi. He was the astronaut that found the box on Mars. He was the astronaut that opened it at the ceremony. Mitan was found mysteriously collapsed in the room where the box was being kept. And after that, she had the power. They took her to the hospital. But then the panels disappeared just as Soichi left. Soichi also fucked off from somewhere. I think he left the astronauts. The panels disappeared. Mitan also disappeared because Soichi abducted her. And he stole the panels and he took them to the cafe. So she gets us all up to speed on that shit and puts it all together for the audience, thankfully.
Well, they were also at. They were also with. God, what's the name of the enemy organization? I'm terrible.
Faust.
They were also with Faust for a time, and doing all that shit because originally she was
like when Soichi took her the first time, he took her to Faust.
Yeah.
And then she didn't know that he took her to Faust. So when he took her from Faust, she thought that he was rescuing her, and that's why she thinks he's a good guy.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Because prior to that, she was making bottles, and then they couldn't do that shit anymore because she was like, "I'm not helping these fucking assholes."
Yeah. So Soichi's a giant fucking piece of shit.
So with this in mind, Sento and Soichi have a little phone conversation. He says, "Hey, Soichi, you're a giant fucking piece of shit. Let's meet up at the alleyway and fight."
Oh.
Soichi says, "Yeah, let's do it, dick." And they go and meet up at the alleyway, and it's raining. And they have a big fight. And Soichi reveals that, I gave you the bill driver, I gave you all that shit, so you'd fight, so I could trick Misora into purifying the bottles, because when you put all of them into the box, something amazing happens. We're not sure of it yet.
Big master plan?
Big something, yeah.
You get to find one piece.
Yeah, a super weapon happens that we're going to use to blow up the world or something. I don't know. Something, you put all the bottles in and something happens. And
it turns into an infinity stone. And
yeah, that's it.
God, if that was the big reveal, wouldn't that be something? That it turned into the last infinity stone.
I would hate this.
And then Bill was in
immediately hate this show. That would bring my rating from a 9 to a 2 in one reveal.
No, you get to see him hang out with Chris Pratt.
No.
Why don't you want that?
No, that's not.
And then it pans over and they're like, "Who are you guys?" And it's the Guardians of the Galaxy.
Then they're all sitting around and Captain America's like, "What happened over in Japan?" And they're like, "Oh, there was a Skywall incident."
You get to see Sento eating a shawarma. So they have a big fight. Sento gets his ass kicked and he's like, "I can't, dude, you're like my dad, I can't beat you." But Banjo appears, he also gets his ass kicked. He's kind of inconsequential, but he's around. Sento is like, fucking, while he's down on the ground, Soichi's like, "You're a piece of shit, I tricked you, you suck. I just gave you the driver to manipulate Misora, I hate you." Sento's like, "You know what, I don't feel bad about beating you up anymore." He takes out this big soda can, and it looks like a Pepsi, and it turns him into Pepsi Man, and he kicks the shit out of Soichi. And as the
it does not turn him into Pepsi Man,
him into
damn it.
spiky,
Pepsi Man has a better design.
Spiky Pepsi Man.
No, he turns into Pepsi Man. No, one side is Pepsi Man, and the other one is the Silver Surfer.
That's true.
So he beats him up. Soichi does that thing that bad guys can do in Build, where they just sort of puff into some smoke and leave. But before he does it, he's just like, "Oh, by the way, watch out for Gentoku. He's rogue." Out.
Peace.
The end. What did you guys think of episode 14?
It was good.
Yeah.
Thank you. Straight to the meat of the point.
Yeah. I gotta stop doing that.
It's the
No,
best
you don't.
part.
It makes me
That's
laugh
fine.
every time.
That's fine. That's
I liked it.
"Oh, what'd you think?" "Oh, yeah, it was good."
It was alright. Anyway, moving on.
Anyway, on
Alright,
to
episode
15.
15. No, I enjoyed 14. There was, more exposition, more revelations, new form that is neat, a little bit of a return to general Kamen Rider things where, antagonist does something and...
There's a lot of emotion in this episode.
Yeah.
though.
Yeah, there is.
It's a pretty
Sure
emotionally
is.
charged episode. Like, there's the whole scene where he's, like, struggling to fight him because, you know, they develop this bond and everything. You have to sort of put yourself in his shoes because he is getting his dick slapped or whatever, but this guy is as close to a father figure as he's had in his short 2-month life or whatever he remembers. Yeah. The only person who ever showed him any sort of compassion to begin with is actually Cobra Man.
My favorite shot
taught him everything
in this episode.
knows.
Actually Jekt.
What?
Is actually Jekt.
Is that a Final Fantasy X
Yes.
reference on my fucking podcast?
Might want to eject Tomaz out of here.
Oh!
Hey, you understood the reference, so you are just as filthy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Anyway.
The best shot in this episode is the one when they're both transforming in the rainy alleyway, and you don't hear any of the loud-ass toy noises, you just hear the rain, and it's perfectly silent.
Oh, yeah. That was cool.
That was super cool. Very thematic. It's like a... It lets you know, like, really simply and with no words that just this is a special fight. It's different from the others. It's going to start differently, and it's going to go differently because there's a new toy for you to buy halfway through. So watch closely.
My only problem with this episode was the exact problem you pointed out in your description, is that your boy Banjo shows up and does nothing of consequence and then sits there. Like, the scene would have been a lot more emotional if he wasn't.
If he
doesn't
didn't
need to be
show
there
up
at
to
all.
throw a sword at a gun
Yeah, yeah.
and then get shot and then lay down. Yep. Good job.
That's the secondary rider.
Might as well have the belt go, Otsukare!
Yeah, Banjo does a lot of laying down and punching the ground.
Yeah.
That's mostly his part in the series.
Shooting
These
the air and
episodes-
going, ah.
He's a frustrated man, these 4 episodes.
I like how, I guess I'll talk about that when that episode comes up. But this episode, they put those, like, rain machines to work.
Yeah, seriously.
In this episode.
They get wet.
Like,
Holy shit.
The thing about Toei's rain machines is they're not Hollywood rain machines that are made to make it look like a normal rain, like on Earth.
It's a deluge.
It's like a monsoon.
The thickest, heaviest rain you've ever
It's a
seen.
Japanese typhoon.
Like buckets.
All I can think about is fucking, like, Stalk has that giant open ring around his neck. Isn't that just full of water? Like, just sloshing around like he's Cuphead?
That's probably awful for the suit actors. Like, having to be in those... Like, the suits I hear are pretty hot and kind of stuffy. And having them be soaked... It reminds me of this bit from Kamen Rider Black where he's fighting a monster and the monster, like, grabs him and drags him through, like, a swamp or something. And all I could think is, like, that must just be so horrible for whoever's in that suit.
It probably just smells terrible.
Yeah.
If water gets in your helmet, it's not coming out.
Not easily.
Like, you're just gonna be sloshing around in that shit for the rest of the
eyes
day.
You probably
so,
can't
like-
even hear anything.
That's
You're
fucked
like moving
up.
around and you have the water sloshing around, and then you're like throwing punches and kicks, and you're
Getting in your eyes and shit.
Yeah, there are water scenes in a few Kamen Riders, and it always made me think, like, is the boots filled with water? That would make them hard to move. It would make them really uncomfortable.
Yeah.
Like,
do they have to edit
Yeah.
out squeaky boots?
That's awkward.
Yeah.
What if you had just
Thank you, Sue Doctor,
you had Blood
for your
Stalk
craft.
walking into a building and his shoes, squeak and make noise because there's water in them? Like, he's walking around all menacingly and he's just
squeak, squeak.
Okay,
Clown
let's
shoes.
talk about the real important thing of this episode. What did you guys think of Rabbit Tank Sparkling's design?
It's good. I like
I
it.
love it. I love it.
Like I mentioned before, I really like angular kind of things.
It reminds me of Fang Joker a little bit.
Oh,
But
yeah, I can see
Don't.
that.
Even fangier.
Oh, no!
Yeah.
No!
Yeah.
What?
Jeff,
Look, Fang Joker, Fang's side has spikes that all go in the same direction and are, like, one after another, very, like systematically placed. This one is just jagged shit everywhere.
No, you're jagged shit everywhere. It's a perfect.
I get that I'm in the minority on this
perfect-
one, and I'm not gonna say that my taste is better than yours, even though it is.
It makes sense because it's fizzy. It's got a,
Yeah,
it's got
it's a
soda
visual
pop.
representation of a soda.
But why? Soda fizz is not spikes. What are you talking about?
it's
Do you want
spikes
them
to
to
your
put the
taste buds.
CG effect over the suit instead that makes it all like sparkly and fizzy, or would you rather have spikes?
Spikes.
You want it
fizzy.
to look like fresh orange lockseed.
Yeah,
Oh,
that's exactly what I want.
Well, I think
No. It's not hideous. I will say that. I just don't like the way it looks.
okay.
I like
alright,
that
not your
there's-
style.
I know I'm in the minority on this one, folks.
Yeah.
You can tell me I have shit taste. I don't read anything you write
For
anyway.
once, it's Jeff that's in the minority. Thank you.
It's fine.
I like that he's got the stripe of white down the middle to just 100% nail home that he's a Fighting Pepsi logo. Like, it's ridiculous.
Pepsi Man has
He
a better.
looks-
Pepsi Man has a much sleeker design.
He looks like a bunny too.
yeah,
Like
with
a fizzy bunny.
It's true.
the
fizzy bunny, Kamen Rider fizzy.
I like
bunny.
a lot of the visual. I like a lot of the visual elements on the suit itself. The white stripe down the center is cool. Like a lot of the detailing around the shoulders before it starts into spikes is really cool. I don't like the symmetry of the spikes. I think it looks negative.
Well, it'll only be there for about 2 episodes anyway.
Yeah,
It's
they're not
true.
gonna use it.
It is a quarter season form.
It'll get used as often as fucking Jinba Lemon got used
But
4 or 5 times.
But I do like that it just looks like an upgrade from Rabbit Tank. Like I like it when suits do that.
Yeah, when
Well, it's
the
true.
upgrade is like the base suit but better.
Right. Exactly.
instead of
That-
type wild.
It keeps the design.
Type formula would be the Drive's version of the suit.
Dead
wouldn't it?
Heat.
Or no, it would
Dead
be
Heat.
Dead
yeah.
Heat. Yeah.
But I liked Dead Heat because I'm a big fucking asshole, contrarian dick.
I actually like Dead Heat, and I wished that Drive used Dead Heat a little more instead of it just ending up being relegated to
Maha.
Mock.
Mock.
It's just a mock form, yeah.
Look, Drive Dead Heat looks better than Mock Dead Heat.
No.
I guess
I'm with
that's
Jeff.
really debatable.
I'm with Jeff.
Really.
No, I
like
think Mock Dead Heat looks
on
better.
Drive.
But I was fine with it being Mock's form. I think they both look bad. I think Mock's base form looks fucking immaculate, and so does Type
Yeah.
Speed. So just doing anything to either of them is just an atrocity I don't want to deal with.
Dead Heat, Maha, and Drive have the same helmet. You know,
I do.
it's
I do
flipped.
know.
But I mean, it looks better.
Mock is such a fucking beautiful form.
So
though.
it's such a great suit.
Do you know what else is a great suit?
What?
Not sparkling.
Fuck you.
Sparkling.
Fuck you.
I'll buy that toy.
I won't, but
Somebody's
Would you
got
buy
it.
it for $1?
I'd have to buy it for like $50 because that's
yeah,
probably
some
how much it
scalper on
costs.
eBay. I would like to get the soda can. I wouldn't mind having that.
Yeah.
Having to explain that.
If it made the exact sound effect that it makes on screen, because that is a satisfying
I
ass sound
think
effect.
when you
Yeah.
open the can, it does the.
Yeah.
Even though that's a sound that Max hates.
No, I just hate the sound of liquid pouring on radio commercials.
Oh, okay.
Oh, you hate that?
Oh, that. Like,
It does make me feel like I got a pee-pee.
Or like at the beginning of movies, how they have like, oh, please enjoy a nice beverage, and it does the.
And you got
Because
the
it does the fucking pouring Coke into like the mile-high glass that takes 5 fucking minutes to
Yeah.
fill up. That's always makes
I'm
me want
thirsty
one real
now.
bad.
holy shit.
Oh, let's talk about sodas. Man.
Yeah, seriously. Fuck.
Anyway,
Yeah.
I think we've discussed this episode pretty well. Why don't we move on to the next?
Okay, so episode 15. The cafe is abandoned. They're like, you know what? The owner of the cafe is gone. nobody ever came into this place anyway. Haven't had a single customer. Fuck it, we're leaving. We're gonna move into the abandoned warehouse across the street. And just in time, because the government appears, Gentoku appears and smashes it up looking for the box, but they can't find it. So the gang is like, not even like a block away, looking from some binoculars, being like, damn, they haven't found it. And I can tell from out here that they haven't found the pit either, because we filled in the fridge. It's good.
Gentoku opens the fridge, too, and he's like, oh, well, I guess they're not in here.
Just can't, yeah. What if they're hiding in there?
How did they even, like, change the fridge?
I bet there's just, like, an insert that they can clip out and clip back in. So they just, like, put it in.
I hope that's a toy to buy.
Oh, you fucking know it
for
will
sure.
be.
39.
That is a P-Bandai exclusive.
1,000 yen.
An actual refrigerator.
Yeah.
Buy the refrigerator from Kamen Rider Build.
You know what?
You open it up and it has the regular refrigerator inside, but if you pull it out, it has a play set that's the
Oh my god.
Ooh.
You're a genius, Jeff.
Hire me, John Toei.
So Gentoku's like, fuck this. I can't find it. Sento arranges a meeting with him just to taunt him. They go to an underground parking garage, and he's like, I got your box here, asshole. Let's talk. And Gentoku reveals to Sento that the rider system was meant to win the war with the other two countries. He wants to start a war and beat the Hokuto and Sato to make sure that Toto is the ruler of all of Japan, and Japan can become one country again. So they fight, but there's no real winner. Banjo gets his ass kicked a little bit, and they run away.
Poor Banjo.
Yeah.
And Gentoku's like, oh, by the way...
He's a professional fist fighter. Like, he got paid for it.
Got paid to lose.
He's just a hothead.
Yeah.
Gentoku goes, by the way, look up Splash. Since apparently that USB that fucking Katsuragi left is so big and has so much shit that they didn't bother to look at. Search Splash. Look at that. We need you to
AOL
finish
keyword
Splash.
Splash.
So he goes home to look up Splash, and he's like, oh shit, it's like a jelly in a little Capri Sun bottle. So he he figures it out. He like starts doing the math and writing formulas everywhere to figure out how to make jelly bottles, little jelly squeezy packs, which will, I guess, be more powerful.
He makes Goku.
He makes X8 wishes he was this extreme. So the Prime Minister calls the gang, and he says, hey gang, I know you guys have the box. We should really arrange a meeting, because it should be in government hands. So come and talk to me in the hospital, because remember I had a heart attack, and we'll work something out. So they go to the hospital, but it turns out to be a trap, and they fight a bunch of robots and smashes and get away with the box. But they get followed back to the secret warehouse, and Gentoku is there. There's a big fucking fight, and they beat Gentoku, and the Prime Minister appears and goes, Gentoku, oh my god, my son, I can't believe you're part of Faust. You're bringing shame to my family name, you dick.
Go to your room.
Yeah. No dessert for a week.
And as they're dragging Gentoku out of the room, he's like, wait, Sento, you're Katsuragi. Ha 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 ha.
He does a pretty good laugh.
What did you guys think of this episode 15?
Also, Soichi steals the plans for whatever.
For Splash?
For Splashing.
Yeah, I forgot about that. He comes back and lies to his daughter, and his daughter knows that he's lying and cries. Real tears.
Oh well. No, I like Mitan. She's cool.
Yeah, she's not lame
Mitan.
like
Fucking Poppy.
Poppy,
Paparino.
Poppy,
We
people,
still get
Poppo.
messages. We still get messages about how Poppy was great, and we just didn't understand.
Nope.
No one understands me.
I understand that she fucking sucks.
A lot of things I
I
don't understand in
understand
this
that
life.
there is a good character hidden underneath a bunch of pandering bullshit.
Look, guys, I get an erection when I look at this character, so it's a good character.
That's why.
Duh.
That's why I play all those titty fighting games.
Mm-hmm.
Nothing
Like
like
Senran Kagura.
nothing like pink hair and yelling.
Why do you think we like Banjo so much in this show?
Because he's
That's
got
right.
the titties.
Because he's got the titty.
I mean,
He's got the pecs.
He's the same size as Sento. Like, physically, they're pretty much the same.
He's clearly fit.
But he's a championship boxer.
He's clearly fit, but the dude is probably in the featherweight league. He's not a big guy.
That's true. He can punch out robots, though,
yeah.
so he's pretty fucking strong.
he can
probably
punch
couldn't take
steel.
out Little Mac.
If he shakes his bottle
No,
first.
If Little Mike used his... If Little Mike used his star punch, he'd be fucking done.
He's the Glass Joe of the Kamen Rider universe.
Fuck.
Where were we?
The episode.
The episode.
How was it?
Would someone like to start? I liked the reveal that Sento is Katsuragi is another thing that I guess everybody kind of knew. The moment when you find out that people can change faces, it sort of starts to add up. And Max, I believe it was you that told us this last week. You put forth this theory, and now you're reaping the benefits, I'm sure.
I'm the theory master.
Did Toei send you your check yet for getting it right?
Yeah, right here, yep.
Thank
I'll
you.
ruffle
Yes,
some
sir.
papers together.
Let me get my files here.
Damn, he got a bunch of checks.
Why don't you just grab your full bottles?
Oh, there you go.
It's
What was his theory that he got right? What did he ace on it?
he aced. Well, you remember, right?
Face changey.
Yeah, the face changing.
Yeah, for the listeners, idiots. I'm just trying to move the
Okay,
podcast along.
Max guessed that they killed Sato Taro and switched his face with Katsuragi.
Because Max is a smart boy.
Yeah.
Because Max has been around the block a couple times. That actually happened to him once.
Yep. I have a different face.
Yeah.
I used to be a woman.
Shame.
Damn.
I can tell by the voice.
Ayo.
Well, now that we've alienated a part of our listeners, listen. This episode is like, I feel like the reveal that he's Katsuragi is pretty much like, oh, by the way, you're Katsuragi,
Jubs.
Just in
Which
case
is-
you didn't already know.
which is like not the best way to do
BT
a reveal.
dubs.
Yeah. I mean, maybe like the big dramatic reveal would have been... No, I feel like this should have been the big dramatic reveal. We've done a bunch of big dramatic
Well,
reveals.
how would you feel if it was like a Star Wars Empire Strikes Back reveal with the... No, you are so-and-so, and then
You're actually
Katsuragi.
That's
and he
impossible.
goes,
and then he jumps off of
"No!"
a pole.
And lands
I would have been on board for
lands
that.
perfectly into a little hole that saves his life.
Yeah.
I think I would have, if I was John Toei and had total control of this show,
Sure.
I would have made it that Sento, for some reason, like, he knows that Katsuragi's alive. We've already got that set up. And maybe he gets a piece of information that they're like, oh, they're keeping some notes on him in the basement of this hideout, and maybe has to fight his way down there, have a big climactic fight with Rogue, and then have him find out, like, on somehow, like, after
He looks in the mirror.
Like on a big screen TV.
like a big screen. I don't know, but like the way Jeff, like you said, it's like, oh, you beat me. By the way, here's a plot twist before I go.
You know what I would have done?
P.S.
He fights his way back to the bottom of the basement or whatever, where they're like, Katsuragi, the devil scientist, is waiting there for you. And he's like, oh shit, I gotta get to him to stop Faust. And he gets down there, and it's just a big empty room with a mirror in the middle of it.
Yeah, or he opens the door and it's just a mirror on the other side.
Oh no!
No, that's impossible! No, I wouldn't have done that, everybody.
No, you should have.
I mean, this isn't the worst way to do it.
It's not a terrible
but-
reveal. Just like
No.
with the Soichi reveal, it's like it's not the worst, but it could have been done better. There are like little things about it that could have been handled better.
But it was easy enough
not
to
a-
see after the Soichi reveal, especially, you know, you're thinking about, well, what else have they tried to foreshadow? And you're like, oh, well, there was when he went back to see the dude's mom, back at
Katsuragi's mom.
Katsuragi's mom in wherever it was at Sato?
Hokuto.
It was Hokuto. And he was eating that dinner over there.
nasty
And he's like,
eggs.
"Oh man, no one likes this. Why, my son, it was his favorite, and you're loving it."
Yeah,
He's crying.
there's the hints.
Yeah, that was the point of no return with that shit. Like, if they would have had him not be Katsuragi in some way, that would have just been the biggest fucking fake red herring in Kamen Rider history.
Some garbage.
Why did he really like the egg roll that much then? Whatever.
Because it tastes good. Fuck you.
Because it was a good
I
sign.
respect this woman's cooking.
He's being polite.
You don't know if it's good or not. Go home and try it.
Asshole.
Here's the recipe.
Put sugary
it's in
eggs.
it's the DVD presento.
Yeah. Put sugar on your eggs.
No thanks.
I'm sure it's good.
Nothing easier than that.
The big ending part isn't really the only important part in the episode, though. There's a lot of back and forth between, like, with the box, with the Pandora's box. It changes hands quite a bit, and I think this sort of the weird thing is, like, our boy Gentoku is like, oh, I got caught by my dad and I'm in trouble now, but that goes away like immediately.
Yeah, in the next episode, the whole government forgets about it really fast. I still don't understand what happens there.
Yeah, that was a weird jump. Like, the dad has a heart attack and then everybody forgets about it and he's okay.
I feel like the show is, and we touched on this a little bit earlier, the show is Russian reveals a little bit. Like, there's the fight scene at the beginning where, like, Sento brings a hologram fake box to talk to Gentoku in the parking garage. The only plot purpose it serves is for Gentoku to tell Sento, for no discernible reason, that the rider system was supposed to be made to win the war. Like, they're fighting, and then Gentoku's like, or they're meeting and, like, shit-talking, and Gentoku's like, also, the rider system was made to win the war, asshole, let's fight.
Well, the original plan for the scene was to have them, get a recording, incriminating evidence so that they could get him behind bars. But he's onto that plan, and, he foils it. So it also serves a double purpose of, well, they're trying to, get the guy, weaseled into a corner, but he's a little smarter than that. He's been around
Yeah, they're
the block a
doing
couple
something.
times.
Like, that's sort of the complaint a lot of people have about shows is like, oh, well, why aren't they doing this? Why aren't they doing something to try to get this villain behind bars? Why do they keep fist fighting him and then letting him run away? They made the effort this time, at least.
They tried. It didn't work, but he got caught anyways in the end. But that didn't work either, so...
This man's untouchable.
He's got
It's a
diplomatic
multi-stage
immunity.
plan. We'll see if it gets revoked by the end of the show.
This is one of those shows where I can't figure out who's going to be the final villain.
I like it.
I'm-
I like that.
I'm scared it's going to be like an 11th hour episode 40.
It always
I
is.
don't want it to be.
In every show.
I'm wondering who's going to end up becoming a good guy.
I just don't want something to pop out of the box and be like, yo,
It's going to be... The box is going to turn into
Martian
a monster.
Manhunter.
The box
The box
be
gets-
like...
The box gets fucking anime eyes and starts talking, and then it gets,
It's me, Box Coon. The box is gonna get like a robot's gonna come out of it and be like, must exterminate all human life, and fucking
Or-
Soichi's gonna be like, I didn't want this.
or it'll turn into the final power-up, and it'll make noises like the dragon.
beatboxing. Or whatever it is.
Oh, beatboxing.
What? Oh,
I-
haha, because it's
I
a
feel like-
box.
I feel like that's...
So we had a good run with Rider
Thank
Club
you,
Radio.
yeah.
Thank you all
We're
for
never
listening.
going to top that one, so we're closing up shop now. I feel like that's probably it. Like, they're the big... Well, no. I feel like soon they're going to put all the bottles in, because every bottle's been purified, even though there's going to be more bottles, we know. But, like, they're talking about, all 20 bottles have been purified. We just got to put them in the box, put them in the, like, panels, and something's going to happen. I feel like that's what's going to open the box. The box is going to fly open.
And then there's going to be another box inside. 40 bottles.
I wouldn't doubt it.
This is not Kamen Rider Ghost, everyone.
Yeah.
Because that is exactly what would happen in that.
It's gonna open, and there's gonna be a super weapon or something. A gun that blows up the whole world when you pull the trigger, and
giant purple space laser.
Or it'll be
space bazooka.
It'll be a note from the real villain. Haha, I got you. I already took it. Signed, evil dude.
Signed, Shocker.
Oh,
Oh god, that's definitely what's going to happen in the crossover movie.
Yeah.
And at the end of the crossover movie, they'll get the real Pandora's box back and put it on the same pedestal, and then the next episode will start like nothing ever happened.
Yeah. I never.
And then
got
there will
over
be
the-
a movie where Pandora's box opens, and then there's a Bermuda Triangle inside, and they have to solve that mystery.
Then there's a Dyson sphere inside of that.
I never got over the fact that after a certain point in Drive, the Drive driver was a fucking future copy that nobody ever talked about.
That's the Harry Kim conundrum
Yeah.
that I talked about
Something
before.
irreparably changes and just well, it's functionally the same, so let's just never mention it.
Oh, by the way, everybody, there's another Star Trek fan on the podcast now.
Oh no!
Fuck all of you!
No! Fuck Star Trek.
no.
Max
Don't
also loves
say
Star
that.
Trek, so fuck you.
No, Star Trek is poop.
Star Trek is
What?
everything
Never
that's
even-
right
I
with the world.
Never even watched it.
I
Nope.
don't even watch Star
Right.
Trek, but I respect it.
Nope, I have no respect
yeah.
for anything.
I have
That's
no
true.
respect for you, but
No
that's
respect
not
for anything
news.
but my potions.
Potions.
There's
Oh my god! Did you really just make that? Anyway.
yeah. Okay. Are we ready to move on to
Was
episode
that a reference?
Yeah.
It was
Yes.
a deep cut. I'm sorry. I apologize.
Don't even worry about it.
Oh, okay.
So let's move on to the final episode of our discussion. An hour into this shit.
Yeah.
Let's hear about episode 16 of Kamen Rider Build.
So in our final episode of the night, they talk about how there was a huge, they have a huge fucking plot dump about how the logistics of. Hang on a second.
It's a real exciting point.
Yeah. I was holding that in for a while. They have a huge fucking plot dump about the logistics of how they switch the faces and switch the things. Sato Taro comes to test the drug. And Stock is meanwhile there talking to Katsuragi saying, "Hey, don't leave Faust, I'll fucking kill you." And fucking Katsuragi's like, "Do it. I have 17 backup plans. Do it. Kill me. Try it."
Wait a second.
What?
Wait a second. We completely glossed over in the last episode that Stalk is working with the Hokuto government.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
He's working with the
That's
lady.
a big ass plot point.
Yeah, holy shit. I always do that.
Oh, well,
So, yeah.
anyway, go ahead.
That's all. Jeff just summarized it. Stock is working with he's stirring up the war for some reason.
He's working both sides, well, tri-sides.
Tri-sides.
He's working that ultimate plan.
Yeah, that whatever that is to blow up the whole world with him on it. That's his ultimate plan. So they're talking about. So they go. Sato goes in. He comes in. Stock's like, "Oh, this is perfect. I'll kill Sato Taro, switch their faces, then I get to keep Katsuragi, but I'll wipe his memory, and hopefully this will all play out."
It wasn't even like a shock to him. Like he'd already planned it.
Yeah.
Apparently, he's the one who invited Sato Taro there,
Yeah.
and also the one who invited Banjo there afterwards. It was all this like elaborate plan.
big fucking-
And I don't even know how that makes any sense, because if he was like finding out that, oh, you know, he's gonna quit Faust and he's gonna leave, and here he is like telling him he's gonna quit, and he's like, oh no you're not, and then he accidentally kills this other person, and then he's just like, well, this is a nice situation I have myself in, and he fixes it with face swap magic. It seems more like an accident than anything he planned, but he plays it off like he planned it.
That's what I would do.
Yeah, like when the bell rings, he's like, "Oh, he's here," and I'm like, "What the fuck? You knew? Like you planned this? How long? What is your long game, dude? It's real long."
He gave Katsuragi the idea to make a new drug that needed testing because he would know that Katsuragi would need someone to help him test it on this time, so he set up the date for the same time.
Needs a new drug, one that won't
He needs
make
a
him
new
sick.
drug.
I'm gonna guess there was no new drug, Liam.
Yeah. Maybe it was the splash.
You were all played for fools.
So they switch the faces. Stock has a special smoke which can wipe your memory better than the noxious fumes can from the underground.
Oh, wait a second. Here's a good point. A good question I want to bring
What's
up.
that?
Why did Stalk do any of this?
So that he could.
Like, you think in your head, right? Like, I'm gonna go kill Katsuragi. I need to get rid of him. I'm going to invite someone to come in so that I can replace Katsuragi with him. And then I'm going to kill him and put him in there. You still have a body you have to deal with.
Well, okay, but what he does, though...
But then he has Banjo that he blames the murder on.
He has
but
Banjo
I don't know why
that
he wants either of them involved with it. Are they just random people?
His big plan obviously has some sort of, I need to have Katsuragi around for my big plan.
Well, he's mentioned this a few times in the story, that he wants Katsuragi to make something, right? He's like, oh, you can finish it. You can finish this project or something if I keep giving you shit.
I guess the Splash project.
There's probably, I bet there's something even crazier after that. That's the
completed
final
build
form.
driver.
Yeah, so he's like feeding him all this shit and be like, yeah, finish it, and then probably he's gonna try and take it or something.
He's the Eggman. Yeah. He's got the master plan.
Yeah.
He does have the master plan.
He does.
Like, this is the long, long, long game.
So he wipes... What?
I guess the reason that he's doing this is because he isn't intelligent enough to make all of this shit.
Yeah.
But then he has all of this, like, social know-how and all of this foresight to plan all this shit. Like, are we sure he couldn't just, like, learn how to make all this shit and just become an engineer? Because it seems like he's intelligent enough to do all this
he's
other
an
bullshit.
astronaut.
And it'd be a lot easier than trying to get... Like, he's a fucking astronaut. Like, he's not stupid.
Couldn't he just grab, like, a piece of plastic and turn it into the build driver? He can do what the fuck ever,
well, look,
apparently.
Just because he's a mastermind and can manipulate people and has gone into space doesn't necessarily mean he's good at whatever fucking science it takes to build a build driver, chemistry or biomechanics or whatever.
Physics, apparently.
But then why does it necessarily have to be a build driver? Isn't there some other way to manipulate that energy that comes out of the... I mean, I guess I'm trying to deconstruct the entire reason for this series to exist, and I should just stop.
I'm guessing that something about his master plan, his Eggman master plan, has to involve Katsuragi.
No, it's because he needs the bottles. No, but then he doesn't need Katsuragi for that. He just has to trick Mitan.
No, he needs Mitan for that. He could have tricked anybody.
I guess he just wants to open the box.
He just wants to open that fucking box. Maybe he thinks...
I'm sure all of these answers will be revealed to us.
Yeah. See, it's the mark of a good show.
As time goes along.
We're asking questions. Meanwhile, or after all that shit, they explain all that shit. Stock kills the Prime Minister? He hits him with a tentacle.
Maybe poisons him.
Poisons him, knocks him out, stuns him. I don't know. He stabs him with a tentacle. And
from the next room, and people are just like, "Oh, what happened?"
What could have possibly happened? Should we check the area? No. He fucking stabs the PM. He falls down, and he's like, "Yeah, you're welcome, Gentoku. You shit." And they go into Gentoku's office, and they're like, "Dude, Gentoku." He's like packing his shit up into cardboard boxes and stuff, and they're like, "Dude, Gentoku, your dad collapsed. We know you're a criminal and the leader of an evil organization, but you have to leave the country now."
I didn't even realize that he's putting his shit in his little box to carry out of the office.
I rewatched it today to recap myself, and he's packing his shit away, and they're like, "Oh,
he's like, well, I'm fired."
He's putting his fucking hang in there baby poster away, or just
putting his little bobbleheads and stuff in his
cleaning out his cubicle.
They're like, "We know you're in the process of being fired for, like, crimes against international justice, but we need you to be the Prime Minister right now." So they hire him, I guess. Back at the pit, Banjo is not going to be satisfied until he can fight Sento. He's like, "Sento, you're that guy. You're the reason my girlfriend's dead, and a lot of other people too."
He just goes back to hating him again. Just like...
Yeah. He's straight up like... He talks later that he knows that Sento isn't the same guy as the devil's scientist, Katsuragi. They're not the same guy. He knows that. But he still wants to fight him because his brain is too dumb. He's got a dumb brain.
Well, no, he says that he's upset that Sento is not considering the fact that, he's a different person, and but at the same time, he's upset and he understands that it's irrational, and so there's a part of his irrationality that is overtaking the rationality of his brain that's saying there's no reason to be upset with him because he doesn't remember doing any of this, so there's no reason to blame him. But
you're
he
saying
also
the same
has...
thing I'm saying.
Yeah.
But I was saying it much more mean because it's funnier.
I mean...
I agree with you. You're right. It's actually a really nice... If you look past like the sort of J-drama style of the way it's presented, it's actually a nice look into the way Banjo has grown as a character. Because earlier Banjo would have straight up been like, oh, you're responsible for me having to go to jail, I'm gonna fucking punch you. And like modern Banjo understands that he's not really responsible, but his emotions are still his emotions.
So he keeps pestering Sento. He says, Sento, fucking fight me, because it'll make me feel better. Sento says, alright, let's go to the underpass. Let's drive down to the underpass and have a fight. Sento kicks his dick. He kicks him right in the dick.
Could they get in like a car and drive down together? Like Banjo's in the passenger seat with his...
They put on some
It's like
oldies.
complete silence. Complete silence, and Banjo's just sitting in the passenger seat with his arms all crossed, staring out the window.
Seething.
Like,
Can't wait to kick your ass.
he's just like talking under his breath the whole way, like, I'm gonna fucking beat your ass when we get there. I'm fucking...
Sento, clearly not a sportsman, goes to his super powered up form and fucking hands Banjo his ass on a silver platter. And Banjo's like, oh shit, this is so frustrating. This is so fucking frustrating. Meanwhile, the government has Pandora's box again. It's safely in the government hands. When they raided the abandoned warehouse, the PM took it back. But the PM is dead now, or, in a bed, incapacitated, and Gentoku is the PM. So he's got the box now. And he's in a hollow conference with the other two countries, and he's like, check it out, I have the box. Fuck you both. Let's go to war.
Bring it, bitch.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's straight up like, look, no more pretenses, no more pretending. You guys want war, I want war, let's fucking war.
War
They're
were
like,
declared.
Okay.
Yeah.
1, 2, 3, 4. He declared a thumb war.
He's straight up like, look, we're doing war now, and they're both like, yeah!
Fucking finally. They agree. They're all gonna fight each other. Back in the park, a bunch of robots from Hokuto attack with some smashes. And Sento goes to fight them, but he's like, oh god, no, the smash, I created them. A monster. And Banjo
They're my
appears.
babies.
What?
They're my babies.
They're my
like
babies.
the X-Aid preview thing that Jeff read, and he thought it was this. That's what he says. He says it to the camera.
Yeah, that was a weird moment, yeah. Banjo jumps in.
How do you think I felt about it?
Yeah, you must have been shook to your core. Banjo jumps in and he's like, fuck that. You're actually not Katsuragi and you're not Satotaro. You're Sento.
You're you.
You're a superhero. And Sento's like, you know what? Yeah. So they beat all the fucking robots and monsters and shit. And the war is officially on because the president of Hokuto is at her evil desk making evil machinations.
She's got a war hat on.
She's wearing like a... She's got her Che Guevara fucking like tilted beret on.
That's how you know there's war. Because the beret. And Grease appears at the very, very end. Grease is the very last minute.
And his lackeys.
That
are 3 Smash, apparently, that retain their intelligence when they're Smash.
Yeah. The hell's up with that?
I don't know.
Played by 3 very obvious comedy actors.
They kind of have that
They have a
delinquent
look.
attitude.
Yeah. They have comedy actors have a look about them in Japan where you can always tell, like, that guy
That guy makes people laugh.
Yeah, if a character shows up in a tokusatsu show and they're not played by an exceptionally beautiful actor or actress, you can bet your ass they're a comedy actor.
Well, yeah, look at Seth Rogen.
Heyo.
What?
I think he's handsome in his own way.
All right.
All right.
I
moving
have
on.
What did
nothing
you
to
guys
say.
think of that episode?
It was good.
It's I liked it too. It was it's the exposition was a little heavy on me, but I understand it was necessary. And there was a line that bothered me where they're like, "Oh, Stock can shoot some fucking. He can change people's faces, and he can use the smoke to wipe your memory. It's pretty much just God smoke that can do anything. Why can he do this?
He learned it from
That seems
Mars."
like a power. Yeah, it seems like a power he picked up on Mars. Anyways, moving right along. Wait a minute.
Yeah, like,
Excuse
hold
me,
on.
sir.
Mars?
Maybe
why,
he got it.
Why do the astronauts have powers?
Maybe he got it when he picked up the box for the first time or something. But they really gloss over it in a hilarious manner.
He picked it up on Mars. He went to the gift shop on his way off of Mars and picked it up.
Mm-hmm.
That is a weak line, and that was the one that stood out to me as being the weirdest in the episode as well.
Yeah.
That's the most hand-waving I've seen in builds so far. I got it on Mars.
Like it's not like
It's not something you just mention offhand and then move on from. You gotta explain what the hell you're talking about.
yeah. And if they intended to explain it later, they probably would have made a point of it, being like, "How can he do that? Yeah, that's still something we got to figure out." But it's just like, he just
They
while
just
he was on
move
Mars.
on.
While he was on Mars, he learned how to do
Maybe-
anything with smoke.
And it,
maybe that was like a translation thing.
Maybe?
Like maybe it made it clear that he got it from like the place that Pandora's box was found on Mars or something.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I don't know. It's overtime.
it sort of
They're
begs
good.
it sort of begs the question, like, if he has really stupid hand wavy powers because of Pandora's box and he's the person that found it, then are all the people that come in contact with the box in some way somehow affected over time? Like, did it happen to everyone that was at the meeting that caused the Skywall disaster?
Well, they did mention,
are they all somehow affected?
That they
or-
did get affected when the box got opened.
They all became assholes, yeah.
Yeah, they all became assholes, but that's not a superpower. Like, there's plenty of people in the world that are assholes, and it's not a
They
superpower.
became they became secret assholes. That's the power they got from.
They became such big assholes that it pretty much is a superpower.
It's no one on Earth knows that they're assholes, but they're assholes. They are secret assholes because of
Sounds
the
like my
power.
last boss.
I swear to God, I'm surrounded by assholes.
This episode's like so much exposition in this episode, but I don't know. I wasn't bothered by it.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like it was a necessary exposition dump.
Yeah.
Especially because of the end of the episode. Because
Yeah,
they're like,
with-
oh
yes.
yeah, all these other, the other provinces or areas, whatever you want to call them, all have their own research going on, and they're working with other people that have this technology, and you're thinking, wait, so hold on, we've just been seeing one side of this story that has three sides.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
We get the little thing at the end of the episode with Grease and his boys,
Mhm.
right? And like 3 9/11s happen, and no one bats an eye.
Yeah, fuck, like a bunch of buildings.
Or
get
just
destroyed. I
lasers
forgot
a
about
whole
that.
this
township.
he fucking like he explodes like 6 buildings. Like there's like 1,000,000 9/11s at once, and no one cares.
It's Georgia all over again.
Yeah, and fucking like he's just like, boss, are you out there? And no one's screaming or running or anything.
It was abandoned. The whole city was abandoned, Jeff. No one lived there.
This is the abandoned city on the south of the Skywall.
It was just
Yeah, Hokuto is fucked up enough that it might be.
they got to set up for the war. That's what all that exposition's all about.
So
Yeah.
who is Kamen Rider Grease?
It's the guy from fucking Kiva.
Yes,
Back
it's
again.
a guy we've never seen before who Sticks out like a sore fucking thumb with his 3 henchmen,
That guy from Kiva.
who are all punks, and he's just
definitely
the
a guy I've
guy.
never seen before because fuck Kiva.
Yeah, we got an email about that you'll like
Uh-oh.
answering.
Can't wait.
But
Yeah, the plot dump, it was heavy, but I get it because I feel like now that this shit's been cleared up, I feel like that's sort of the end of the first kind of arc of the show, and now we're into this whole new, like, story, like a bunch of new elements are being introduced with the war and with Greece and with these apparently sentient smashes that you kind of have to clear that shit up.
It's
Like the
let's-
show could have even started where it is right
it's
now.
post Chronicle. Post Kamen Rider
Post
Chronicle.
Chronic.
Oh.
you know what would be really fucking cool, and I just thought of this?
What?
Is if, like, Gentoku and Soichi thought that they founded Faust with Katsuragi, but it turns out that he had, like, partners in the other provinces as well, and there's better fucking Smash research there, and, like, Faust is actually all over the country working to create this war.
That'd be genius.
Maybe this is where the spider,
The spider,
trans-steam
yeah,
gun guy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Man,
That'd be neat.
I hope we actually get one. I don't want there to be a bat and a cobra and not there be any spider.
Seems like a waste.
They know what they're doing.
Yeah.
Yeah. But I just want Faust to
Maybe
be
the
like...
spider's in the box.
Oh, God.
Oh.
I just want Faust to be like a really big, evil organization. Like, there's the episode where they kill the assistant or whatever, who's supposed to be the leader of Faust, and it made me realize how fucking small and insignificant Faust is.
They got like 4 members that aren't robots.
Yeah. Not quite impressive.
Yeah.
Not like Shocker level here. I want it to be Shocker
Like
level.
Shocker, who has lasted 40 years in every country,
Yeah.
has never been truly beaten.
I hope that they don't, like, after Hiroshi Fujioka dies, I don't want them to ever use Shocker again, because that means that Hongo wasted his entire life. Like, he never actually stopped the evil organization, and he's the only rider who failed.
He's the only writer he's been doing it this whole fucking time. He comes back every year with the update on how the Shocker War is going, and it's never good. They're always still around.
To be fair, every other evil organization is Shocker.
That's true.
In some way.
That's true.
They're connected.
Yeah, they're all just little offshoots of Shocker. Shocker's the be-all, end-all evil organization.
Are you sure it's not Foundation X?
Foundation X ain't done shit, so I'm gonna go with Shocker.
Yeah.
Foundation X is like the thing from Double that feels like, oh, it's part of our master plan. We're doing this big thing, and then it also suffered from that same issue of they don't have a master plan and they never did fucking.
Kamen Rider.
Yeah.
It's a Xanatos
Kamen
plan.
Rider Cinematic Universe.
Just fell apart.
Yeah, just like the DC extended universe, right?
Heyo.
Ba-da-ba-ba-da-ba.
Take that pot shot where you can get it.
That's right.
What do we all think of Grease's suit? I think it's okay.
Yeah,
I didn't really get a good look at it. I didn't see it in action.
it's fine.
It's a suit.
Yeah,
He's a dude.
It's okay. The color scheme is not great.
I think the color is a little... It's sickly. It
I think
reminds me of like...
that's really the only problem in it, really.
Yeah. Reminds me of some...
It's like
Design-wise,
Dijon
otherwise.
mustard kind of color.
Yeah! Or like some
Yeah.
gross medicine
Oh, yeah.
you gotta take, like cough syrup or something. I guess he's supposed to be like a gross liquid,
But,
grease and all that. But
I like the clear
He
bits
looks
are
like-
pretty cool.
yeah, I like the see-through bits, yeah.
He looks like a jar of pickle relish. That's what he looks like.
Kamen Rider pickle relish.
But
I guess he is supposed to be grease.
He's supposed to be grease, so I guess he's supposed to look kind of gross.
Jar of
I
bacon
guess.
grease.
it did
What?
dramatic.
Jar of bacon grease.
Jar of bacon
It
grease.
zoomed in on the toys, of course, so you get a good
That's-
look at them.
Of course.
Yeah, that's what the robot splash jelly is. It's not jelly at all. It's just grease, bacon grease. They scraped it into a bottle, and they're like, "Fuck this works."
This scraped it.
That's the Toei way right there.
Scraping for ideas.
What did John have for breakfast this morning? Bacon? Put it in a toy.
Put it inside of a toy, manufacture it, and sell it en masse. Fuck it.
You're all gonna buy one.
Yeah.
So it doesn't matter.
Yeah, we're suckers.
He's got a screwdriver gauntlet too, I guess.
Yeah, he's got this. I don't remember. It has a name that's dumb called like the double puncher or something.
I think it's like a twin breaker.
It's the twin something. Yeah, and
Double puncher.
The double puncher. I like the look of that. I like gauntlet weapons. Don't see those often enough.
Did you like the wing gauntlet?
Yes, I thought the wing gauntlet was cool as fuck.
I think the wing gauntlet's cool too, even if it is a recolored NES Power Glove.
From Jetman, you mean? Okay.
Yes.
I watched enough to see that.
Thank you.
I think. Do we have anything else to say about Build?
I'm done with Build. I like it. I love it so far. Actually, I think it's a great show.
I really liked Sento's kind of inner turmoil. How he was like, "Oh shit, I'm not me," and then at the end he's like, "You know what? Fuck it, I'm me."
Yeah. For a main writer, Sento's a lot more interesting of a character than most main writers.
Yeah, he has more. Well, like Max said, it's sort of like an internal struggle. It's a conflict that actually goes somewhere instead of, like, they mention it for a few episodes, then he just goes back to being happy-go-lucky, bubbly, no worries, recycled lines and catchphrases.
Dramatic henshins.
It's an inner conflict as well that makes sense.
Yeah.
And to us as the audience, we can, like, empathize with it. Unlike someone like Fies, whose inner conflict is that he doesn't have a dream. Like, that is so weird and, like, esoteric and airy. It's not a real thing that you can put your hands around, but, like, Sento's is, I was a horrible fucking psychopath monster before I lost my memory. That's something that you can think about, like, damn, how would I feel if I found out that I was that guy,
Yeah, that's a rough thing.
It's tangible. It's something that you can understand.
Maybe you can't, directly relate to. Like, you didn't wake up and, oh, man, I lost my memory, and I used to be a murderer.
Maybe you didn't.
No.
But it just really
But you
it makes me really like Sento, because I sympathize with him.
You got something you need to share, Jeff?
Not with you. Or the police.
Not on recording.
Yeah, I agree. Like, Sento's a really great protagonist. And I feel like his back and forth with Banjo is like the lifeblood of the series. Like, their relationship is the center of this universe, and everything else just sort of builds out from it.
Yeah, I love their interplay. They're good foils for each other.
And with that out of the way, with all of that main part of the show finally out of the way,
woo!
I want to play a little game on this episode of Rider Club Radio.
Oh no!
It's called Toku Trivia Night.
Oh boy!
Oh, anyway, basically each of us has, except Tomaz because he sucks.
I have a piece. No, fuck you. I do. Eat shit. I found one.
All right, I will eat shit. Each of us has brought a trivia question that we're going to try and stump the other three with. And I'm going to start with mine, since it's going to be the easiest. This is a trivia question from Kamen Rider Kabuto.
Ooh.
Who was the character who guest starred in one scene in Kamen Rider Kabuto who was originally from a different Kamen Rider franchise? It's a character from a different franchise.
I'm buzzing in.
But who is it?
It was the Hongo Takeshi from Kamen Rider the First.
Ding, ding, ding!
Yeah.
Well,
that is a fun trivia for everybody.
He's like in the background real quick in one episode.
He like drives his motorcycle past Kabuto, and Kabuto's like, "Oh, what a rude man!" And then he looks back off his motorcycle and goes, "What a weirdo!" And then drives
flicks
away.
him off.
How appropriate.
He's not wearing anything that would identify him as a Kamen Rider in any way, shape, or form.
Yeah,
well, that's a pretty cool nod, anyway.
Yeah, it's too bad the movie sucked, dick.
But it's still your favorite.
It's got a place in my heart. I don't know why.
Okay,
It
so I
does.
We should cut it
It's the
out.
first.
True.
I have a question also carrying on the theme of Kabutomushi. I have a question
Okay.
with Stronger. Stronger's name, the name of the show, was not originally Kamen Rider Stronger. It was originally something else. Do any of you know what the name is?
Kamen Rider Strongman.
No, not quite. Strongman at your service. No.
Electro Dude. I don't know. What was it? Well, let Jeff...
It was... Jeff?
Was it, I feel like I've heard this before. Was it just Kamen Rider Strong?
It was Kamen Rider Spark.
Oh,
Because he's all electrical, eh?
That makes sense.
A?
Yeah.
And it's still an S. It's still an
it
S.
sticks with the S, yeah.
Alright, so Liam has won.
I've got one that stumped everyone because
he's-
it's super obscure.
Yes, there are no points and it doesn't matter. But, who's next?
I'm winning is the point.
All right, I got one.
Okay.
It's character actor related. It is not a direct character that is transferred over. And there's plenty of this that you could do without Kamen Rider because there's so many character actors that make
Oh, yeah. Toku
several appearances.
reuses actors a lot.
Yeah.
So mine is a little more simple in that which I'll tell you his first appearance was in Kamen Rider Agito, and he appeared in three more series, three more franchises. One of them being only in the movie. After Agito, he was only a primary character, not the main character. He was a primary character in Agito. And he made appearances in 3 other shows. You don't have to tell me what shows they are.
Hojo.
But what character... Oh, damn. Yeah, you're right.
Yeah. He was in
I was waiting
Flies.
for you. I was waiting for him to finish the question.
I'm
but yes,
sorry.
Hojo. That's
But
okay.
what was
I know
he
he was
in?
in-
You can
Tell us what he...
He was in Flies, and then what else?
So
He
he
was
was
in-
Itsuro
he was in-
Takuma in Faiz. He had a
Yes.
minor role in Ryuki episode Final as a customer in the Okonomiyaki restaurant.
Oh, shit.
and he
and
was in
he
Amazons.
I didn't even think about Amazons.
oh,
but
yeah,
no,
he was in Amazons.
He was in the Kamen Rider Drive miniseries, Secret Mission Type Tokujo, as Akira Kusakabe.
What?
Oh wow.
Shit.
What was that character?
He was like he was the superintendent of the Tokyo Metropolitan Police Department.
Huh.
Oh
And he was helping Tomari with a murder case.
Wow.
And Brain like impersonated him or something like that. He was killed and copied by Brain, and Brain used his identity to infiltrate the SPD.
Emergency.
I remember that now.
Shit. Toei can't keep away from this
SPD
guy.
emergency.
All right, Max. Final question of
Well,
the night.
we haven't heard... Well, I guess on the show, we haven't heard the voice for the Splash Driver. But what famous Japanese voice actor does the voice for the Splash Driver?
Oh, shit.
Fuck.
Is it the woman who does Goku's voice?
It is a man's voice.
Shit.
It is a man's
And it is-
voice.
I'll give you a clue. He's like every bad guy in everything.
Oh, God. I'm blanking. I don't watch enough anime to know this.
Stephen Blum.
I don't even know what the Splash Driver is. Like, I haven't seen it. I don't look at
It was in the thing that the
in the
Grease is
episode.
wearing.
Yeah. Grease wears
Yeah.
it. That's the
I didn't
Splash
give it too
Driver.
much.
What's the answer?
Norio Wakamoto.
Oh, that sounds really familiar.
That
Like,
name
who-
doesn't ring a bell.
M. Bison. Dracula.
Shit. Oh, my God.
Well, he does a lot of shit.
He does a lot.
You'll
of
know
stuff.
the voice
That's why he
when
sounds
you see
familiar. It's probably Dracula. Is probably why he sounds familiar
He
to me.
he
Yeah.
also did the voice of the Japanese crisis suit.
He was
Really?
Cell in
And
From the
Crisis.
game
he was Cell in DBZ.
Oh yeah, there you go.
Oh shit! Very famous. Here's something that you need to know about me specifically as the listener to this program. I don't fucking know anyone's name who makes anything. I'm sorry. I just don't. Like, if a Japanese person made something great, I don't know their name. I'm sorry.
You'd know his voice if you heard it.
Yeah, I'm sure I would.
He was in Trigun. Wow. He was in Hellsing. He was in Cyborg 009. He was Whole Horse in JoJo's Bizarre Adventure.
He's in a lot of things.
Cool.
This concludes Toku. This concludes Toku Trivia Night. Thank you for playing.
What a wash!
And we won't be back. But I do want to take a minute, Liam. You and I watched the finale of Choujin Sentai Jetman, and I want to hear some of your thoughts on this. Okay,
so I know what we're all talking about. We all know at this point that Guy fucking dies at the end of the show.
What?
Yeah, we knew this. We knew this ahead of time.
Yeah,
like we've been spoiled. I'd already been spoiled. So when Guy starts fighting Gray, their final showdown, I was like, oh, he goes out like in this final showdown with Gray that has no consequence, that just happens because Gray wants to die. I get it.
They take
that
each
makes
other
sense.
down. Yeah,
that makes sense. No, he wins handedly, and then leaves. So I'm sitting here scratching my head for the last episode and a half, going, "What the fuck? When's he gonna die?"
See, there's a bit where they're fighting. I think it's Veronica. And things are going really bad, and it's just Guy and Ryu in the robot. And Guy goes, fuck, Ryu, you know, I respect you. I'll get you a drink after this. And Ryu's like, I'll get you a drink too, Guy. And I was like,
that was
he's gonna
the
die.
Perfect moment for him to die.
Here's where he dies. And then he doesn't. And then, like you said, he goes up against Gray. I was like, here, he's going to die. Nope. And then
so
there's
instead, instead, they jump 3 years ahead. Weird enough, we're at a wedding, and it is Kaori and Ryu,
which is the biggest twist,
who have not had anything to do with each other for like 25 fucking episodes.
That's so weird.
Kaori was dating Guy,
and then just out of nowhere, no hints or nothing, she's with Ryu.
Yeah, they're just getting
like
married.
Some Digimon Adventure bullshit.
Yeah. So they're just getting married, right? And they're like, hey, where's Guy? He should be here. And it cuts to him buying flowers. And I'm like, fuck, shouldn't he be dead?
I thought you were going to say
Did
it cuts to him
wrong?
dead, just like in a gutter.
Just in a
It's
ditch.
a little worse than that, actually. He sees a lady get her purse stolen. And he runs after the purse snatcher, who proceeds to fucking stab him in the guts. And then he goes to the wedding with a stab wound and sits on a bench for like 6 hours and dies.
Guy, if you'd gotten to a hospital, you probably would have lived.
He could have gone to every hospital in Japan.
It wasn't
in
a
the period
huge
of time.
knife. Probably could have lived if he'd gotten some medical attention, but...
And
or
the
if he put
weirdest
some pressure on the wound.
Yeah.
The weirdest part out of all of it is that he's dead on a fucking bench, and the episode plays triumphant final episode music while everyone like frolics about at the wedding happily.
The best
with his
part...
dead body in the background.
What a way to ruin the
Ryu...
wedding. Like, discover him dead on a bench.
Yeah.
Maybe that was his entire
Ryu goes
plan.
to take a photo with him. He goes to take a photo with him, and he takes like this really awkward selfie because Guy's all slouched over dying. And Ryu's like, hey, come join the festivities, Guy. And Guy's like, I'm tired, just let me rest. And they're like, okay, he's tired, just let him sit there, folks. And they run off and have a sick wedding while Guy just fucking dies on a bench. And what a contender. What
a fucking moron, right? Like, you're supposed... I don't know what you're supposed to get from this scene. Is it like, oh, he's had a stoic warrior's death? He got stabbed for a purse.
It's literally, the story is over. The story is done. But let's just shoot one last plot twist. I think we can squeeze one in there. Let's just slide one last little plot twist in this show, just for extra cool factor.
I think... in the end, what that was supposed to teach us is that being Guy Yuki is the shittiest life you could possibly have.
Yeah, he's dying at the marriage of the woman he loves being married to someone else, and he's dying on a bench. It's just the worst day of his life.
I think the best part about that is he is like super psyched that they're getting married. Mm-hmm. Like, he's like, I'm gonna go to my best friend's wedding, and I was like, I wonder which one of them he's talking about. Because he was dating one 3 years ago.
Yeah, this must be a little bit awkward. I mean, it's been 3 years, but still, shit.
I don't know. He just doesn't care.
Yeah.
And, like, I guess it's within his character, right? Like, he was a playboy. And he only seemed to be so interested in Kaori because she wasn't interested in him.
He doesn't seem like the type to settle down.
Man, maybe he got bored.
And then after they get together... yeah. And then, like, after they get together, he hardly even, like, talks to her or anything for the last 10 episodes.
Yeah.
So that wasn't so shocking to me. It was weird that it was shocking that he just dies on a bench from a tiny stab wound after all of his adventures.
Just, yeah, he's killed in hand-to-hand combat a fucking robot from another dimension that could blow up the entire world if he wanted. But this dude with a tiny knife was too much for him.
It reminds me of Star Trek.
Oh boy, doesn't
Let's
everything.
hear it.
Because Captain Kirk, great hero of space, and one of the pillars of the Federation, who goes on a billion adventures where his atoms are scrambled this way and that a million times. He's shot, stabbed, thrown off shit, split into two, has these insane adventures, and then at the end, he falls off a bridge and dies.
Is that how he
in the
actually
movie,
dies?
yeah.
Yeah, he falls off like a bridge collapses that he's walking on, and it falls like 15 feet on him, and he dies.
Wait, is this in Star Trek Generations?
Yes.
Yeah, okay.
And then Captain Picard buries him under some rocks on the planet and just leaves him there.
Oh,
It's pretty good.
an honorable
It's just,
burial.
You set up this character like that's supposed to be this grand adventurer, and then you kill them in some really stupid, lame manner.
Yeah.
Especially in the final episode of the series for no reason, when the villain's been defeated for 3 years.
That's poor, is what it is.
Like, I was watching it, and when he got is stabbed, and I realized that's the way he dies, I said out loud, "What the fuck, Inoue?" But I should have known I couldn't get through an entire Inoue series without something like that happening.
Yeah, 99% through, it was good. But then Inoue's like, wait a minute. I haven't put something dumb in this show yet. Hang on.
Like, he's at his typewriter, right? And he's on the last page, and he's like, and then they lived happily ever after the wedding. And he looks over and catches his own reflection in the mirror, and he's like, wait a second, I'm Toshiki Inoue. And then Guy dies on a bench for no reason.
The end.
That kind of reminds me of this secret ending for Final Fight with Mike Hager.
Oh, yeah.
Where in one version of the game, he's just like, and then Mike Hager developed a drug addiction and fucking died at the end.
No, he didn't. He did not just develop a drug addiction. He developed a drug addiction, was thrown out of office because of it, and then lost all credibility as a politician because they found him fucking a goat.
What?
Okay, yeah, that is what
that
was
Wait, is that game? I saw this thing on Twitter recently. It was a game. I don't know if it was Final Fight or something, but you enter in a code and it gives you a little. Yeah.
Yes, that was it.
Yeah,
And
it
one
was
of them
on
was like this
it was on
dude-
like a C90X version of the game or whatever.
Yeah, and one of them was like, this dude became an insurance loss coordinator and married a 300-pound traffic directing lady and died in his rocking chair at 65.
That was Guy, the
Yeah.
ninja. What?
Like,
And,
realistically, after the adventure is over, you'd settle down and get fat and probably become some kind of...
I think
fucking-
Cody's was the most realistic because he becomes a drunk and then trips and breaks his skull open in a gutter at age 29.
Oh, jeez.
I was like, Jesus Christ, these are terrible endings.
This is...
Guy got off the best. He got a good job and hopefully a
Yeah.
loving wife.
He died as an old man with a nice cushy job. That's okay. He didn't fuck any goats.
It was obviously something that someone hid in the game that they thought was funny, like some programmer that they never thought anyone would find.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But God, that's
Not
funny.
like Toshiki Inoue, who just wrote the story that way and then they shot it.
Yeah. At least Guy didn't fuck any goats before he got stabbed.
That's the perfect description of any Inoue show. Is he just wrote the story that way and then they shot it for some reason and they made it to print.
On that note, we'll move on to answering some emails.
Wait, before we do that, speaking of shitty writers, did you hear that Shirakura announced that spring movies are over?
Yes.
Heisei Generation's final is the final spring movie.
Hence the title.
It's
an end of an era.
I don't know if I even give a shit, because most of those crossover movies aren't that good.
No, they're terrible. I don't give a fuck at all. I was happy to hear that.
They're probably realizing they get absolutely like no income in them, and it's like we could just make more toys during the show and not need to make movie
was
toys.
Dr. Pac-Man?
Yeah,
and then we don't have to make a movie.
Dr. Pac-Man was a
Save
spring
your money,
movie,
Tony.
right? Dr.
What?
Pac-Man was a
Yeah.
spring movie?
I believe it was.
I
Yeah, that was
think
Heisei.
so.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that was kind of poop, but
Yeah.
all the fight scenes were pretty good.
Wasn't Heisei versus Showa a spring movie?
That, I think, was a summer movie? I don't know.
I don't know.
I can't
They
keep
should
track
just
anymore.
stop making them all.
Yeah, really. Like, Amazon's is getting a spring movie, but that's like a different... That doesn't count. That's not like a main series thing, but
No.
that's
Amazon
it.
should get put on Netflix, as odd as that sounds.
Yeah, I'd watch
No,
that.
it
Because
should.
Amazon, Netflix, you know.
It's only on Amazon Netflix, yeah.
They should put it on the Amazon streaming service for the U.S. They've done it for other countries.
Yeah. They should put, they should make Kamen Rider Netflix and put it on Netflix.
Do it.
Just keep with the theme.
Netflix's.
Kamen Rider Crackles. Put it on Crackle.
Kamen Rider Crunchyroll.
Vimeo.
Vimeo.
Oh, scraping the bottom of the barrel.
Yeah, that's when they really start running out of money. I saw a thing where, it was
Kamen
like,
Rider Pornhub.
I'd watch that.
I saw a thing where
they'll get the actress from Agito, Mana. Best
Oh,
ass in
yeah.
Japan.
Best ass in all Japan.
I saw a thing where it was the top, I think it was like the top 50 like franchises that generate the most money in Japan in 2017. Mm-hmm. And Kamen Rider was 20, so not bad.
No, not at all.
Number one was obviously One Piece. Yeah.
Still?
Still.
One Piece is
It's
on top
still
of the
the
world there.
best.
Still number one piece.
Okay. What do you...
Okay, let's move on to
I thought you had
emails.
more to say.
No, that's it. I just wanted to say I found some cool
Well,
news.
you know what,
Okay.
Liam? You're number
What?
2.
What?
And I don't mean that... Yeah, you're
mean-
poop.
Yeah.
He means I'm poop.
I was waiting for you to say that, Jeff.
Our first email of the night is from Timeline,
Hi.
who says, "Hey guys, now that it's been announced that Amazon's is getting a conclusion movie in spring, what would you like to see from it?"
Oh, good
A
segue.
conclusion,
Hey.
I guess.
I don't want them to introduce a bunch of shit like they did in the second season, because it's a movie. Like, in a second season, you can introduce a bunch of concepts, like, slowly, with like a little bit of breathing room between them. In a movie, if you start introducing like a shit ton of stuff, that's all the film's gonna be, and there's not gonna be enough time.
If it's
for
a
anything
conclusion
else.
movie,
Yeah.
you can't really add more things.
Yeah, it's tough.
You would think so.
You know, there was this great thing. It was called Twin Peaks Season 3. And they were going to address all these things about Twin Peaks that never got resolved. And they ended the show, and they added more things that they didn't resolve.
I never finished Twin Peaks Season 2. I just couldn't get through it.
Really?
It's Season 1 of Twin Peaks is the best TV show I've ever seen in my life. I'll say that.
I tried to get you guys to watch it, but...
It's so good.
I have not watched it yet.
Season 2 I cannot get through. It's just so much more like slow-moving and meandering.
Well, yeah, after you get past, like, the big reveal...
Yeah.
It just goes nowhere because David Lynch left the show and didn't come back to the last few
Yeah,
episodes.
and they're like,
'Cause
what do
he's
we do?
Fuck you, NBC, or... I think it
Yeah.
was NBC.
What do we do with
Is
Twin
the big
Peaks now?
reveal that the Twin Peaks are actually a spaceship?
Yes.
Holy
You guessed it.
shit!
And
Max
then
is a
David
plot
Duchovny
twist
leaves the
guessing.
show.
I'm too busy watching Longmire.
I would say what I'm looking for from Amazon's conclusion, but I haven't seen Amazon's.
Oh,
you
you're
should
missing
get on
out,
that.
dude.
It's a really good show.
Me and Max watched the first episode, and then we didn't.
We were
watch
like,
anymore.
"Holy shit, this is good," and then we didn't watch it.
It's like we forgot that it existed.
I do highly recommend Amazon's. It's
Yeah,
like
it's
a cut above regular writer shows.
It's very different from what you'll see on... I mean, I'm sure you saw that in the episodes. Really different from what you see on a normal writer show. Really
Oh, yeah.
good. Super edgy.
A lot more blood.
Yeah. Yeah.
Timeline continues. Also, what do you think of the new O's combo that were designed for his CSM belt coming out soon? Were there new combos?
Yeah, they added a few of them. There's like a bovine one. There's some medals that were out already. For like the DX driver, they were like the shrimp, crab, and scorpion. And they didn't really do anything, but I guess they just made a combo for it in the CSM.
That's cool.
Oh,
I didn't know that.
I didn't know either. It's toy news. We don't do toy news on this program.
No, as you know, we've never talked about toys in this podcast ever.
They just made some goofy ones, but I think it's just a way to make people want to buy the new driver.
Here's some exclusive medals that don't actually have a form that appeared in any media whatsoever.
Got a lot of
It's a
toys.
lot of medals, but you know,
If you like O's,
yeah.
that's your jam, I guess.
Well.
But
If you want to give Toei, or I guess CSM, is that even Toei?
It's
That's
Bandai, isn't it?
Bandai.
Bandai.
I actually didn't
Yeah.
know that Bandai was CSM. I thought CSM was just like some people that were making toys and selling them.
no, Bandai is they're the guys that make all the rider toys. You
Yes.
go through them.
For some reason, there was this alternate universe in my head where CSM was just a bunch of fans making Rider toys.
That's kind of interesting.
That's a much better alternate universe.
The Tomaz AU.
And they also added sounds for everyone's favorite pair of pajamas, Super Tatoba.
Ugh.
What a beautiful form. Just
What a
beautiful.
what a
Fucking
sin.
form. Disgusting.
What an attack on the eyeballs.
Really, yes.
It's so loud.
Thanks for writing in, Timeline. We appreciate your questions.
Thank you.
Our next email is from Alonzo, who says, "Hey guys, it's guy who doesn't send emails. Alonzo, well, you're not that guy
you just
anymore."
sent one, buddy.
Why would you fucking lie like that?
Anyway, my two questions are thus. One, did you know X8 has an official timeline that includes super duper superhero Tyson for some reason? Not,
What?
I'm
Wait.
not sure if it's for the lore or order of release. There's a timeline for X8 that has the
Is that
movies.
Cho superhero? Okay.
Yeah,
Super
it has
Superhero Wars.
Super Superhero Wars.
Yeah.
Well then.
I did
Does
not
it-
know that. I tend to
Time-
avoid timelines.
Does it have
for
is it a
fiction.
three-way
Yeah.
split timeline? Where X8 succeeds and X8 fails?
Like, I feel like all rider shows have, like, an implicit timeline. Like, when you watch the movies, there's a clear, like, this takes place at this point in the show.
Yeah, like it's
But-
very apparent in Drive when it was like, oh, this is where the future movie starts.
Yeah, you can tell
Yeah.
what's going on in the plot, like, when you're watching the future movie and you're like, oh, you can see, what forms he's got and who's running around. You can tell where they are.
Yeah.
But is this, like, did they release, like, an official thing? Like, did they put in a poster or something of, like, here's the order of events in X8?
I don't know. He did not include a link. So I don't
That's
know.
fucked up.
You mentioned the split timeline, and I immediately thought of like the Tony Hawk Pro Skater fake timeline. Like Tony meets Bam. Tony goes back in time to prevent meeting Bam. And, like Tony
Great.
succeeds, Bam
Tony-
succeeds.
This is the alternate timeline where he gets big into downhill racing for some reason.
Yeah.
What?
Question number 2. If you could make your own evil organization in Rider/Sentai, what type of motif would you give it, and what type of monsters would you like to have in it? It's funny you mentioned that, because we played a tabletop game, a Mutants and Masterminds game,
Oh, yeah.
where I played a super obvious knockoff of Kamen Rider in it. That was sort of a mixture of Kamen Rider and Spider-Man. And there was an evil organization that I made for that called Gestalt.
Yeah, I remember Gestalt.
And Gestalt's motif was basically like body horror monsters. Because they were trying to create the perfect godlike body for their souls to inhabit or whatever. It was, Gestalt means like a being made up of smaller beings. I thought I was being clever.
You know what? It was clever.
Well, what about you guys? If you had to make your own evil organization?
Oh god. The best thing for an evil organization to do is to capture people and put them into things. So
the Dr. Robotnik motif?
Yeah, so I'd say...
turn animals into robots?
I'd say an evil organization that turns people into hilarious, like, machine-themed monsters. Like a lamp person. Or a lock person or something like that.
So you're talking Kamen Rider Super 1.
Yeah, oh yeah, totes. And the ultimate goal would be to fucking leave Earth so we don't have to live here anymore. Because it's so dirty here.
Hey guys, I think the ultimate evil organization should be the U.S. government. Am I right?
Hey.
Am I right?
Getting topical.
What do you mean should be?
Oh.
Heyo.
Damn.
Liam, you can't talk about this.
I can...
Yeah, well, you got Mr. Bean as your Prime Minister.
Your Prime Minister's Justin Trudeau still, right?
Oh,
Yeah,
the hot
still.
guy. I forgot.
The hot guy that everyone loves, yeah.
Everybody loves him except his policies that are just pissing people off, apparently.
Everybody loves his face and his hair.
Yes.
Yeah.
P.S. Watch Dr. Pac-Man. It's the only thing with ghosts that's good.
I want to know what Tomaz's secret...
Oh, yeah,
secret
shit,
government-
yeah, Tomaz.
Secret organization, like what would they do?
Like
Or
what would your motif be? What type of evil organization? Like, what would their goal be? What would their motif be?
I think the most interesting thing would be being as like sleuthy and stealthy about it. Not like world domination. You know, you don't want everyone to know about it. You want some sort of like underground world order, sort of like the Illuminati. Some sort of underhanded. You know, they get fingers in all the pies. They get plants everywhere.
And supposedly, Shocker's supposed to be like that, but they also make giant spider.
You mean like a Hydra kind of thing?
Yeah, kind of like Hydra.
Yeah.
Hydra's that way too, where it's supposed to be some secret organization that has its fingers in everything, but they also have guys in green and yellow jumpsuits with lasers. So
they play both fields. They're diverse.
I mean, it's not something you're either one or the other. It's more about like a percentage, like how much.
Sure.
How much of a secret organization are you, and how much are you just straight up out in the open killing people and
it's like
screaming your name at the top of the mountain?
It's like your Cobra / Illuminati percentage. Thanks for writing in, Alonzo.
Aren't we gonna talk about Dr. Pac-Man?
I've actually not seen it, so I don't know.
You didn't watch Dr. Pac-Man?
I did not watch Dr.
It's
Pac-Man.
alright. It's okay.
Well,
it's you guys can discuss it since you two have both seen it.
It was a while ago, but
I guess all I can say about it is it's all right, and you get to see some old riders,
old
like
faces.
Shinosuke, who I love.
Like Shinosuke,
he's the only reason you should watch it.
Yeah, Drive is kind of the best part of every movie that he's in.
As usual.
Anytime Drive shows up,
Gakusano's voice is in it.
Yeah, I heard about that.
You get to see fights with like I always like it when they do like the form roulette where they just like go through everything.
Yeah.
They show off all the forms.
Hey, we still have the suits. We didn't forget.
Haruto is in it from Wizard.
His face looks weird.
He looks like he was in a car accident.
Like he gained a little bit of weight,
no.
and they like put a whole bunch of makeup on him.
Oh no.
No.
It's kind of distracting, but he also just kind of comes off as a loser because his character was so one-dimensional in Wizard.
He finally got out of working for Toei and got into a contract where he could afford real food.
He's not just drinking water.
Yeah.
We'll bring that up a lot, won't we?
We already have.
Max, did you come up with an evil organization?
I guess just, like, Skeletor.
Just your organization.
No, what's Skeletor's group name?
The Masters of
Sure,
Evil?
whatever. Just, like, have a castle filled with weird monster people.
Just fucking, like, cackling monster
Exactly.
henchmen
Who
underneath.
needs subtlety? Yeah.
Yeah. I think
So we have a
Masters of
diverse
I
group
like that group
of evil
where there's
organizations.
some guy just sitting in a throne going.
You got the hand, no, the claw from Inspector Gadget,
Yeah.
sitting there petting his
Dr.
fucking cat. Dr. Claw, thank you.
Next
That's it,
time,
yeah.
Rider guy.
I'll get you, Gadget.
I'll kill you next time,
He-Man.
Yeah.
Yeah. And he
Our next-
prays.
Our next email is from Adam, who says, "Hey, numbnuts and Max.
Hey.
Whoa.
Instead of cock teasing us with Ultraman, how about you guys grow a pair and watch Ultraman Orb for free over at Crunchyroll and support Toku localization? Cause Ultraman fucking sucks.
How
No
are we
thanks.
supporting something if it's free?
Ooh, gotcha,
Oh, wow.
bitch.
Wow.
Balls in your
I
court.
mean,
I don't really have anything personal
called me
against
numbnuts.
Ultraman.
mine
I mean, yeah, but people on the internet call people names all the time. I stopped taking it personally because I realized if I got mad at everyone, I'd just kind of be a sour old person.
I'm still getting mad at everybody. Give me my turn with
my
it.
nuts are not numb, so I don't
He
know.
didn't
I don't
include
have
you.
any interest in Ultraman really.
I don't either. I've never had much interest in Ultraman. Like, I watched some of it when
I'm
I
a
was
really
younger.
shallow person, and I don't know. I just don't really like the designs. I'm sure it's
I did.
It doesn't
Oh.
look cool. It doesn't. The story never really captured me.
I did the same thing with Ultraman X as you guys did with Amazons. I remember someone was like, "Hey, Ultraman X is on Crunchyroll. Check it out." I was like, "Okay." So I watched episode 1. I was like, "That's pretty good," and then I just forgot about it immediately for the rest of my life.
just got better things to do.
It's got
I'm
better
just
shit
not-
to do. Yeah.
I don't know. Like, I don't think Ultraman sucks or anything. I understand why people like it. I
You know what?
don't. It's not
If
interesting
I end
to
up
me.
watching any Ultraman, I'll write a report,
Do it.
Do it.
book report.
Also, I don't usually watch things that people insult me at to try and get me to watch it.
It
So,
definitely makes us want to watch it more, right?
Yeah.
Hey, you motherfucker! Why aren't you watching Gilmore
what's-
Girls?
You know, Jeff got me to watch Rider by just browbeating me constantly for years. So maybe if you just keep that up for a good year or two more,
Just,
we'll get on.
if you
Ultraman.
keep attacking Liam, eventually he'll watch what you want
Just
him to.
keep pressuring me, and I'll give
Well, the prerequisite is a friendship that grows for several years, so you might want to start there.
in. Okay,
Yes,
so be my
that's
friend,
true.
and then browbeat the shit out of me.
I remember when Jeff got me into Rider.
I'm responsible for all
He
of this
just-
horse shit.
He
I'm
just
sorry,
showed
everyone.
me
We never
the
stood a
first
chance.
Cyclone Joker transformation, and I was just like, I think I should watch this.
I'm sold.
I remember watching Double coming in at Oxel's reveal, and I'm like, "Who's this piece of shit? What the hell is even going on here? I'm gonna go do something else." And then, like a year later, I was like, "Oh,
This is good.
And then I watched Fies all the way through and hated myself.
You poor soul.
I watched Ryuki, and I like
Well,
that."
that's because it's Ryuki.
Now I have better taste, and I know that Ryuki's just kind of average.
No, Ryuki's the bomb diggity, and you're a piece
Ryuki's
of shit.
good.
Ryuki's good. I wouldn't say it's bad, but
No,
I don't.
I
love
wouldn't
it.
say it's. I like Ryuki a lot, but I don't know. I'm probably somewhere in between calling it the bomb diggity and average.
It's the bomb.com.
On to some questions. Now that we're done with 90s lingo. 1. Jeff, why do you hate Kiva so much? I know it isn't the best writer, but it's far from the worst. Why me? Like, why just me? Liam also
We
doesn't
all
like
hate
Kiva.
Well, I've never seen Kiva. It might be amazing. I don't know.
Kiva is the worst. Have you not watched
Terrible
it, sir?
things, though.
I think
Adam, have you not watched Kiva? It sucks. Like,
Eric, our friend Eric, likes Kiva, and even he thinks it sucks.
yeah, he likes Kiva because of Ixa, and he can't stand it otherwise. And that's pretty much the correct opinion to have of it.
Is to know that what you're watching is shit, and you're like, well, I mean, I like this, but
I think
it
that
sucks.
Kiva's
happens,
premise is kind of cool. Like the themes of it,
Yeah.
kind of like a
Vampires
gothic
and horror and
kind
stuff
of,
like that.
But then it's like bath scenes,
It's like J.
They approach it
Yeah,
in a
it's
very
like
very
juvenile
pretty
way.
people, which
It's like J drama to the
Yeah.
maximum is the thing. Like, you could watch 90% of an episode and not have any idea you're watching a writer show. It changes as it goes along, but it never redeems itself.
and I hear there's a lot of like time skip bullshit. Yeah.
There is. You jump back.
Yeah, doesn't
and
it
forth all
take
the
place
time.
like partially in the 2000s and partially in the 80s? And
Yes. And you
That's
have
weird.
two sets of characters in both, and neither set has anyone interesting in it.
and I know how it ends too, because somebody told me and I didn't believe them, and I looked it
It's
up.
true.
And I was astonished.
So that's why. Yeah, also, Max and Tomaz also don't like Kiva, so it's not just me. 2, what is your favorite time an actor returned in Rider?
Oh, definitely when fucking Oja came back for that Brave special.
Oh man, that was an insane time.
That was the balls. I loved it.
I'd have to say when Shinosuke came back in Dr. Pac-Man, like I didn't know that he was going to be in that movie, and when what's his name, Takeru, what's Ghost name?
Yeah.
Or whatever.
Yeah.
Takeru.
Yeah, he was like, "Oh, we
yeah.
should go see my detective friend," and then it was just like, and there's Shinosuke sitting in a chair, just like giving him a rundown on some case. I was like, "Oh shit, Shinosuke, it's my brother."
What was the one where like Decade hires Shotaro from Double to like help him on a case or something, and he just follows a turtle around?
Oh,
for the
that's
rest
in
of the
Heisei
movie.
versus Showa.
And I was gonna
Yeah.
say I loved seeing Shotaro come back for something, and they even had Axel come back for something as well, and he was like helping Shinosuke for something in a movie.
Yeah, they had him
Like
for a
I didn't
Drive
really
special.
like Axel. I didn't really like Axel in the show that much, but
Are you-
I thought that was an interesting way to
Are
bring
you
him
saying
back into it.
Oxel or Axel?
Axel.
Oxer.
Axel.
I like the way they did it. It's like a guy dies right on the border between Tokyo and Fudo, and they're both arguing over whose
Yeah.
case it is. And
It was great.
it's so good.
That
Mine
actually,
would either be that or Shotaro coming back for movies. Like anytime
Yeah.
Shotaro comes back, especially because
Yeah.
I know he was such a big fan of like Kamen Rider Black when he was growing up, and he was like, "Man, I love this shit. I love Kamen Rider," and then he gets to be like a really good Kamen Rider, and he has a very good personality about it, and he loves to come back and be in movies and be a
He's
big
got
jokester.
charisma.
I can only imagine how psyched he was during that scene in Heisei vs. Showa where he fights Black and Black RX, and he says, "Huh, Black Riders, huh? I feel a certain kinship with you."
He
Yeah.
was creaming his jeans.
Probably.
Black RX was. We saw.
What?
Heisei vs. Showa had... Oh, God.
Remember the day he looks like he wet himself real bad?
It looks like he pissed halfway down his
so
pants.
wet.
Yeah. The rest of him is bone dry, too, which makes it a million times worse.
Maybe he was doing a rain scene.
He was
right
doing
on his
a
crotch.
pissing scene.
Yeah.
Yeah, Heisei vs. Showa is a fucking dumpster fire, but it has certain parts that are good, and the fact that Shotaro comes back is pretty fucking dope.
Yeah, I'd recommend Heisei vs. Showa for like 2 scenes, and the rest of it is total worthless garbage. But
Pretty much.
And if you'd like to watch it, we have a commentary track up.
yeah,
As a matter of fact, we do. Although it might be down. They
on
keep
our
going down for
WordPress
some
blog,
reason.
it's constantly exploding. So
But
I think they weaved it in. I think OZC weaved it into their download.
oh yeah, they did. Go to
Oh, cool.
OZC.
Yeah, thank you, OZC.
remember us. Another favorite
Mer-
was what's his name? Keepa from Agito, another Agito coming up back in Go Rider. I thought that was really cool.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah,
It's
that
like
was cool.
Everyone has like their flashy transformations, and he's just like, Henshin.
He puts his hands in front of his crotch, and then he flexes, and he transforms.
His belt says nothing because he doesn't really have a belt.
No. It's just part of his gross
Yeah.
monster body.
While everyone's belt is just screaming.
Merry Christmas from friend. You can't be friend of the show after that, Adam. You can't attack me and be friend of the show.
I gotta earn that title.
Merry Christmas from fiend of the show, Adam.
There you go.
Merry
P.S.
Christmas.
P.S. Max and Tomaz spinoff when?
Now.
When we jump the shark and run out of ideas. We'll
Yeah.
have The
The
Max and
spinoff
Tomaz
is us
spinoff.
just hanging out without Liam and Jeff around, and then we just talk shit about them.
That's when they live together in an apartment in Seattle, and all sorts of wacky hijinks ensue.
Why
Our
Seattle?
next email.
I don't know. It just seems like a sitcom city.
Frasier.
Yeah, Frasier.
Our next email is from Jake the Snake, who again wrote us quite a lot of thoughts on these episodes.
Always appreciate it.
I definitely appreciate it. I read it all already, but again, I'm probably just gonna skip to the questions. I'm sorry, Jake. I love your thoughts. Questions. One, a question for the newest co-host,
Huh?
because there's two of them now.
So,
Since the question has already been answered by the others, I want to ask Max and Tomaz what your rider tick would be. Also, did Liam PayPal him the 20 Canadian dollars he owed him?
Don't remind him of that, please.
20 Canadian dollars? Oh man, he could buy a pack of gum.
That's like $2 American, so look forward to that.
oh no, I did not get the 1 penny that he.
So, what would your rider tick be? He has our answers for reference here,
Tick?
like me and Liam's, if you need an example.
Like
Like
Tourette's.
the hand flick. No, like the hand flick that you do, or like the
Like
count up your
fives.
sins and the point, or
Like, a good example is Fies, because they're so obvious. Like, Fies, when he
Oh,
transforms, like,
the
flicks
wrist
his
flick,
wrist,
yeah.
and Kaiza, like, pulls at the neck of his suit and moves his neck around, and then acts like a dick.
I think like the rotating the shoulder kind of thing. You know what I mean? Like hold on to your shoulder and like rotate your arm. Like I'm gonna stretch
like
it out.
stretching,
Roll
like
your
I
shoulders.
just kind
yeah,
of walk
yeah.
up.
I guess for reference, I'd say Alex's taunt from Street Fighter 3. Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
There you go.
It's somewhat similar to mine, but enough that you couldn't get sued.
There you go.
Get sued.
Although I love that he listed the one I did as a joke as my secondary one, making a quick jerk off motion towards the camera.
well.
Oh, Tomaz already answered this, is why.
Oh, I did. I was on that show.
Yeah, pushing up his glasses, which I think would look less awkward if the suit had an adjustable visor to push up on the helmet.
Yes.
Well,
That
damn.
would be cool. So question 2. What is your ideal number of riders to have in a series so that each one gets enough development, focus, screen time, and that no rider gets completely left out or tossed aside?
2. I
62.
believe 2. And one bad
104.
one.
2 and an
Yep.
evil. Liam?
I like to have as many riders as possible. I think I like lots of riders. I think 10 is a good cutoff if you're gonna keep all of them around for the whole show. And I like a big multi-rider series without a lot of monsters, like no monsters of the week, just some generic monsters for like a background thing. But like the plot focuses on these main 10 characters. I think you could do 10 riders. I like just lots of riders. That's my jam.
I think a good average for me would be like 4. if you have like a primary and a secondary, and then like an evil guy, and then maybe a second evil guy. Maybe you could do like a 3 and a 1.
A redeemed guy. Maybe
there could even be maybe you could even have like a scenario where you have 1 and 3, so it's like one dude against 3 different riders, and then like there's sides changing. I think there's a lot of interplay that could go on there. However, that being the average, I would love to see a show that goes back just for 1 year. One show with one rider.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I'd love that.
I'd be down for that.
It's weird,
but man, they would have to shove all the toys in him. All the toys.
Oh, yeah.
It'd be crazy, yeah. Or the enemies would have to have some kind of cool gimmick to have toys.
Mm-hmm.
You could have something like
that's actually brings me to my point right there. Is that I was just thinking about this. How many riders does Build have? It seems like 2 right now, and a third one coming in. But what's the difference between the riders and like Night Rogue and Blood Stalk?
Yeah, I was just
they can't
say.
get stronger, and they don't have any other forms that
I guess it's kind of like the Machine Chaser kind of thing. Yeah.
It's it's a Shadow Moon conundrum where like he's basically a rider.
They still have a toy, they still transform, they still have a ton of out-of-suit action and stuff. The only thing is they're not called Common Riders. They just don't have the
Although
title.
there may be something coming on.
Maybe.
No spoilers on this
As
podcast.
I read my toy scans.
You delete those toy scans off your computer, young man.
The police.
And how will I know
notified.
everything?
The FBI is on its way.
I agree with Max. 2 riders, I think, is the absolute best. You can have your Blood Stalks and your Night Rogues, your characters that are kind of rider-esque. But I think having 2 characters that are common riders and having them be somewhat opposed to one another to begin with and come together as the series goes along is the best way to do it. I also love, and it never happens anymore, but just 2 riders who are just fucking total bros, and it's them
Some
versus
buddy
the
cops.
world. Exactly. I would love
Same.
that. It just doesn't
I'd
happen.
also love that.
There was some buddy cop action in Double, but I mean that was the detective show, so of course there was buddy cop.
Of course.
buddy
They're
cop action.
budding.
It was Buddy Cop the show.
You even had good cop, bad cop, except it was like bad cop and cop.
I guess O's also
Yes.
had some kind of 2-rider setup, but then I guess it ended up 3, if you count Proto Birth.
2.5.
2.5 riders.
That's a tough question, though. Really, I think that the cutoff point is probably, for having a lot of focus on every character, is probably 5. I think if you go beyond 5, you're gonna lose some. I mean, some Rider series actually lose it at 2. So.
I think you can go beyond 5, but you're gonna have to have arc riders. Like I will say, Ryuki has.
You're gonna have some
against the
scissors
question.
thrown in there.
Scissors and some guys thrown in there. Yeah,
that goes against the question. It was that they all get enough screen time.
That's true. No, I think you can do it with 10 if you handle it proper. If
that
that's
would take
like
some
the whole
juggling.
cast.
I don't think I agree. I think 5 is pretty much the cutoff, and that's why. Or no, maybe 6.
I mean, there's 5 in X-Aid. I guess more if you count bad. But I feel like even with the 5 that were in X-Aid, some of the characters kind of got swept over. Like Taiga, I kind of wish he had a little bit more going for him that was not shit.
Yeah, Taiga was
Tiger really
pretty
lost
much
focus.
Yeah,
he was just there.
Brave. I think Brave is the one who took the biggest hit for lack of focus. For like long swaths of time, he had no focus.
Yeah, it's
He
true.
had a cool ending arc, though, I guess.
Yeah.
It was okay, but I didn't really love it. It felt very predictable. Like, he's gonna betray him because he cares about his girlfriend, and then he realizes the error of his ways, and he's been seduced by the dark side of the Force, and
they should have subverted those expectations.
Just make him go full bad.
I feel like the question is how competent do you think Toei's writers are?
That's true.
Yeah, that's the real kicker.
Usually not very.
I mean, they're not writing Oscar-winning dramas. They're writing kids' television shows.
Though for Build, it's been exceptionally good.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I don't discount them.
Bill's been damn
I don't
good.
have high expectations, so I get pleasantly surprised when they offer something that isn't.
A show like Build is not it's the exception. It's not the rule.
Jeff, did I hear you say Ghost was good, or did you say Build?
No, I said build.
Okay.
Holy shit!
I was gonna
How
say,
dare you? If I had to pick the worst tokusatsu I've ever seen, having watched Kamen Rider the Next and the first, I would still choose Ghost.
Ghost is the worst by far because it's so long and so boring.
There was only a few Rider series where I was watching it, and I was just like, no, can't do it anymore. As it's like being released,
Yeah.
and that was Wizard and Ghost.
Having
mean,
seen Kamen Rider Kiva, I would still say Ghost is the worst.
Whew.
But not by much.
Yeah,
I
Ghost
mean,
was terrible.
Don't take my opinions as fact, but I started watching Blade, and I was like 25 episodes into it, and I just sort of gave up on it. Me and Max watched like 7 or 8 episodes of Kabuto, and we just ducked out on it. Wizard, I somehow made it through the entire show, and I have no reason why. Ghost, me and Max ducked out on like episode 6 or 7.
Smart.
I gave Forze like 2 episodes, and then I ducked out on it. But then me and Max came back and watched all of it.
And it was pretty good.
Okay. I was going to say, you're going to get so much hate mail
Forza-
from this one little bit of information you're giving us.
Forza ended up being pretty dang
That's
good.
fine. Forze had its good parts.
I've heard
I
good things
didn't-
about Forza.
I wouldn't rewatch it, but I enjoyed some of the time I spent with it.
I think we got off topic.
Yeah, holy shit. What was the question?
Our question was the ideal number of riders, which we all
Right.
asked.
Yeah.
Answer.
Yes.
3. Build's pacing has always been at full blast. Still, I have to wonder, do you guys think the series can maintain this kind of pace all the way to the end?
Well, it's been evident that a series can do that with Agito.
Yeah. It'll be impressive as fuck.
Yeah, he asked if we expect a couple of filler episodes down the line to give the story some room to settle down, or do you think there's a chance they might burn out and use up all their material before the final stretch?
I was expecting like a Christmas shoot-off episode or something, but
Thank
they're
God
just
there
like,
was none
oh,
of
it's
that.
Christmas, and then there was like a depressing cutaway.
Yeah.
Remember what we got
It's Christmas,
last
and we're all
Christmas?
fucking depressed. Screw
Peepo
this.
Popo Bells.
Remember, we got Peepo Bells and then Laser fucking died.
Mhm.
I can't believe those were the same episode.
Yeah.
They
Yep.
were?
Yep.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
Like 10
Talk
minutes
about-
apart.
No, I remember complaining about that because it was so tone deaf.
Yeah.
Sorry, just scuffed my mic there.
Peepo Pills, and then
Peepo,
fucking...
yeah. I thought it was
The
very
hero
funny.
Everyone's
dies.
beloved
That was
character.
very funny. Yeah, I loved it this Christmas when they're like, yeah, we were gonna sing Jingle Bells, but it's so depressing, we just decided to skip that. So here's the episode.
I would say that I don't expect them to keep up the pace through the entire show because, like I said earlier, I don't have high expectations. However, with the way Build has been going, I wouldn't be surprised if they somehow manage to do it. Because other shows have tried to do so, and they don't always do it. There are a couple shows that get close. And I would certainly enjoy if there's, no filler, but this is a TV show that they run, every year.
Well,
This is something they constantly have to have written and, shot, and who knows how much is actually written beforehand, who knows how far the script out, how far out the script is.
unconscious.
Unconscious?
There's like I feel like they're gonna use the ABA structure. It just seems like it with the way Greece is being introduced right now and everything, and like the war starting because X8 used the ABA structure where things changed. Like there was an A part and then a B part, and then the A part came back again with like the release of the game.
So you could, yeah.
And that's got to be the standard for keeping momentum going in a show like this. We have 52 episodes or
You have to
whatever.
have status quo to jump off from.
Like you have your A part, and then you're gonna have a B plot, which I think is gonna be the Grease and his greaser buddies, and then we're gonna get back to the A plot again afterwards.
There's a
And the A plot's not going to be gone during any of this. It's just not going to be the main focus.
Build has a fresh new writer, right? Like, person who writes the show.
Oh, I thought you said fresh new writer. Yeah, he's got the writer.
Sorry, that's my
have...
Michigan accent right there.
The writer doesn't have much experience with Toku, no. I don't think so.
Okay, well, there you go.
Well,
Actually,
maybe that's a good thing.
Let me check, actually. His only work is Kamen Rider Build.
Wow,
You're
first-time writer.
You're gonna keep
First-time writer.
me in saying Ultraman sucks balls.
Yes, I am. That's my favorite fucking gag to do. Is Liam says something and then says, "Hey, edit that out," and then I just fucking leave it in.
You're just gonna have it like repeated, like after everything I say. Ultraman sucks balls.
Just real quiet in the background, so you can just
And
almost
see,
hear.
this doesn't even dissuade him from doing it. It just emphasizes how much he's going to do it.
All right. Back to the email.
Yeah.
So hopefully that answers your question, Jake. And thank you for writing in again. Again, I'm sorry I don't read everything that you write, but it's only a 3-hour.
Yeah, it's getting pretty long.
Only.
Our next email is from James, who says, "Merry Genmas, Jeff and Liam."
Oh.
No.
Oh.
What? Genmus?
Yeah, I know
What?
that by now, by the time the new episode comes out, it'll be past Christmas. But hey, better late than never, right?
Yeah.
Been a while since I mailed in. I wanted to write in since the new run began, but unfortunately, due to unfortunate timing and not knowing when you guys record, I haven't been typing.
What?
What? Why do you guys keep saying
Cat
what?
hasn't been typing?
He hasn't been typing because he doesn't know when we record. So
Oh,
he hasn't sent
I
us
thought
an
he's
email.
just like physically
Okay.
restraining himself. Like, I'm not. Can't.
He hasn't. He
I
hasn't
can't type.
typed.
Not today. Not ever.
First question: since they said that Soichi was committed to the same hospital as Misora when the Skywall happened, me and some of the others in the RCR Discord have been wondering: is Soichi even really Misora's father? He could have altered her memories, or maybe not. It's too early to say, really.
I like the idea that he is her father, because if he wasn't, then it really deflates all the shit that he's been doing to her. Because then he's just doing that to some random girl.
Yeah, it's not. There's not as much of a gut punch.
Yeah, it's not as evil as this man is doing this to his own daughter simply because she happened to gain these powers from being nearby when he caused this giant fucking catastrophe.
Yeah, that'd be fucked up.
I didn't know that they. I know that she calls him dad and all that, but I didn't think that they were actually related.
Yeah, I never guessed it. I figured he just abducted her from the hospital, and
Do they have the same last name?
I don't know.
I don't know either. I never.
Soichi Sugami.
They mention it a lot of times that like that's her father and
Yeah. I thought it was just she. No, I guess. I thought it was just she considered him.
Like a caretaker
No.
kind of thing, yeah.
You might have been confused because Sento looks up to him as a father figure.
Yeah.
But he calls
I
him
guess so.
master. That's a little bit more weird than dad.
Well,
yeah.
it's not
It's
that
a
he's-
Japanese thing.
Yeah, that's
Yeah,
because he's
it's
the owner
more
of
out
the
of
store.
respect.
What is thy bidding, my
He's
master?
the master of the store.
Masta.
I think we already answered the second question. He asked how we feel about Soichi being Blood Stalk. We kind of went into that
Yeah, we
pretty
went over
heavy
that.
in this episode.
Mixed.
Third question. Have you guys seen the 2 trailers for the first 2 movies of the X-Aid trilogy? I find them hilarious since the first one is basically Saki dumping Hero for fat
Oh
Dane,
my god.
while Papa Taiga sees if this foreigner is good enough for his daughter Nico. And the second one has Emu getting shot, and it looks like it'd be the perfect moment for what you say.
Oh my.
In fact, someone did make one.
Did someone make an edit? Fuck.
Oh man, I haven't seen any of those. It's weird how I know so little about Kamen Rider, but I do a podcast about it.
I'm gonna watch them when they're coming out for sure, but
I'd love to see the movies.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
I'm sure Excite will do them.
I think they said they would.
Yeah.
Anything that's related to X8, they'll do.
Yeah.
We actually already talked about the CSMO's driver as well.
This guy's psychic.
He says that he understands when Liam said he would murder a man for the CSM Gatak sector.
Some sexy shit.
He has fun little bit of trivia, which is what Max's trivia question was.
Oh.
About Norio Wakamoto.
Wow.
Seriously?
This dude is listening to this podcast in the future.
100% clairvoyant.
Instant cassettes.
This guy's got it. Our last email of the night is from Don Piantis.
Of course.
Who says...
Hello, Don Piantis.
Who says, "Hey RCR, I thought perhaps you guys wouldn't do a podcast episode around this time of the year, but then I remembered you guys reacting to Kiria's death last year. R.I.P., even though you came back."
Yeah, Christmas won't stop us.
Next episode looks like all hell broke loose as the war occurred, unlike the Rider War from Ryuki. Destroyed buildings have actual consequences, which caught me off guard after being used to Sentai mech battles. What consequences? I didn't watch the preview.
I
didn't see any.
don't remember any consequences. The previews are always so confusing, and I don't know where to look on the screen.
It's just flashing images.
I think they just mean that they were reacting to the fact that they were destroying buildings and someone is going to be mad about that, instead of just, some shit's breaking.
You blew up some buildings.
Okay, well, all those thousands of people are dead, and they have to rebuild now.
Yeah.
It's cool, though, that in the Super Sentai world that construction companies can rebuild cities in like 2 seconds.
Because they're made of
Pretty
cardboard.
awesome. That's true.
Yeah, they're all made of balsa wood.
Plastic lawn furniture.
It's very easy.
Questions. 1. If you guys were given the roles of actual Kamen Riders, but on a show like Ghost... Oh, God.
What?
I threw up in my mouth a little bit. What would it take to convince you guys to take part in it? You could be enemy riders, or to absurd extent be allowed to knock some sense into the main rider by punching them every episode if he's like Takeru. What would it take to convince you guys to be a character on Ghost?
Honestly, if they approached me with the job, I'd take it. I don't care. I don't care if the show
money.
sucks.
Yeah,
money. I'll get paid. Sure. How do you think these projects get built? They just do them.
I don't
and
have
they
fucking
get paid.
pride. I'll be on
I have
Ghost.
bills.
Yeah.
Bills come
I guess
before
my
pride.
problem would be, how do I understand who's talking to me about this order? Like, they want me to be on this show. How do I understand that? Because I don't speak Japanese.
Let's assume you speak
Maybe it'll
perfect
be
Japanese.
Maybe you'd be like the guy in, what was it, Drive? Yeah, the overseas guy that was getting upset and just talking in English, and he was just a French dude.
Was that in Gaim? The guy?
Oh, that was a guy.
That was in
That was in Gaim.
How are you going to take responsibility for this?
Yeah.
You're the one who brought this to my attention. You're the... Yeah, I remember that guy.
Just
Yeah,
yell really
so
loud.
we would just be an English dude, like getting subtitled.
I'd be Richard Brown from
Richard
Shinkenger. That's what I'd
Look,
be.
if all I had to do was show up and say, taking care of all of you is also part of my job, you bet your ass I would.
Totally.
I don't know. I'm not pretty enough to be on Kamen Rider.
Well,
You're
does he mean
beautiful.
like what would our purpose be in the show, or?
Nah,
would
it
we-
was what would it take to convince you to be part in it?
Oh, okay.
Money.
Money, yeah.
Yeah, money.
Some cash.
Money.
Okay, so because that is the obvious answer, because you're going to do a job for money.
Sure.
if money was already part of it, and let's say you had no issue with money,
A shitload of money.
if you were some kind of like, independently wealthy person that had loads of dosh,
Okay.
and it was simply your time investment on the show.
I'd still just fucking do it.
If I was just like an extra, I'd still like to be on it, I guess.
Man,
Just to be part of a writer series, no matter how shitty.
do I get to wear a suit? If I get to wear like a writer suit, then yes. If I don't, and I just have to be an out of suit guy at all times, then
Is
no.
that how that guy? I can't remember his name, but the old guy in Drive that was the chief.
Oh yeah, Chief Honganji was the character's name.
Yeah, is that how he ended up in the show? Because he ends up wearing a writer suit.
He ends up wearing paintball pads and a fucking
But
motocross
maybe
helmet.
maybe it was in his contract that he had to appear as a writer.
Maybe. Because he was a massive Kamen Rider fan.
Yeah, and he has like an actual job and
Like,
credentials.
If I could appear in a rider suit, and if I could keep it afterwards,
That's a tall order.
yes. Did we answer that question?
I guess.
Yeah.
It's a
All
hard
right,
Most
question.
standards.
Up
I
to the
don't-
Rider Club Radio standard, the seal of approval.
I don't really know if there's. I might actually just do it to be on the show, like Max said. Even though Ghost is terrible, and I would hate to be associated with it. I know plenty of people that were on movie sets, and like in shitty movies, like The Postman with Kevin Costner, simply because they were.
Hey, that's
extra.
a good movie.
No, it's
Okay.
not. No, it's not.
I've never seen it.
If I were one of the people that got hugged by Takeru, I'd just be like, no, I don't want to be in this.
I don't want him to touch me.
That's the thing, like, he puts on the table that you could be a villain or whatever, but then you have to fucking job to Takeru. And, like, be defeated by the power of the other guy's Kokoro or whatever.
That's a shame that I don't think you can ever fully come back from.
No. No amount of money.
The perfect human. I mean, dead guy, human. Nope.
Question 2. I've been meaning to ask this. Do you guys have anything to talk about recent issues or news of comic books, including movies, if you want? I've been a reader since slightly before DC Rebirth, and I used to read Marvel mostly. But DC's been stealing my attention, especially the news of Connor Kent potentially returning. Well, I'm sure that was maybe a bit of a disappointment for you. Connor Kent returned, but it was an evil future version of him from a long while back, which I thought was awesome, but I'm sure a lot of people didn't appreciate.
I don't know what any of this is because I don't read comics.
Yeah, Jeff, you're the resident comic books expert. I don't know shit about comic books.
Is it true that Young Justice is coming back, though?
Yes.
Yes, then I'll be
It's
on.
another time skip.
I'll still watch it, I guess.
Yeah, there's another time skip. Now Impulse is Kid Flash and Damian Wayne is Robin, and there's a bunch of characters I don't know.
Is Dick still in it?
He was Nightwing in the
Damn,
second season,
right.
so he might be in the third. I don't know.
Fucking better be.
He's the best.
I heard about Young Justice and I immediately thought about Liam, so I hope you know that I think about Young Justice and Nightwing, and I'm just like, oh, Liam would like this.
I would like it because it's got Nightwing in it.
Liam loves Dick.
I love Dick. It's my favorite.
Damn.
Can't get enough Dick.
I mean, he said we could talk about movies as well. Like, what do you guys... You've seen the trailer for the Infinity War. What'd you think of that?
Yeah, I think I'm disenchanted with Marvel movies. I still enjoy them, I guess, but this new one looks kind of cool.
I feel like I'm obligated to watch these movies.
Same. I feel like I
Sure.
have to see them, even though at the same time, like, it's easy to enjoy them, but they don't have a lasting impact on
Yeah.
me. It's
I mean,
not like
it's-
I think about them fondly later on. It's just like a thing I consumed.
Did
It's
you guys
not the
see
worst
Thor
way.
Ragnarok?
Yeah,
I did not see it.
I saw Thor.
I did not see Thor Ragnarok.
It's
Did
so...
you enjoy it?
Yeah, it's not the worst way to spend money.
I went to go see it, and two guys behind me talked through the whole trailers. And then when the movie started, they kept talking.
Oh.
So I turned around and was like, hey, would you guys mind to not talk during the movie? Thank you. And they started, like, hooting and hollering, like, are you fucking kidding me, buddy? And I was like, nah, please don't talk. And he was like, the movie hadn't even started. Fucking Thor's on screen talking. And I was like, well, that's why I'm asking you to not talk when the movie's on now, before it started. And the two of them sat behind me muttering about kicking my ass for the entire movie. And then at the end, they got up and left.
So they were pussies.
Pretty much.
They punked
like,
out.
I'm not a strong-looking guy. You can look at me and tell you could probably kick my ass. So they just, I guess they got lazy and left.
Typical Southerners.
That's right.
That sounds like a really unfortunate movie experience.
It was terrible, man.
That does suck.
Yeah, I'm sorry, man.
The movie itself.
I went to see Last Jedi, and I was pleasantly surprised with my local theater's accommodations. The seats were like reclining leather like seats.
Damn.
With, like,
Yeah, that's a new
with
thing.
two
these
cup holders
days.
on every side, and the reserved seating. There was enough walk space in front of you for people to walk by without like squeezing past you. There was a bunch of height difference and like a barrier in between each of the seats, so you didn't have people's heads in front of you during the movie.
Jesus,
nice.
did somebody come in there and suck your dick too? What is
Yeah.
this place?
A movie with
I don't
a
know
happy
what the
ending.
hell. Yeah, and there was a bottle of lotion.
Just
There was
go at it.
There was a call button for the stewardess.
They just had a little sign that said "No jerking off." Just kidding. Go at it.
And yet I still had someone next to me that was occasionally talking during the movie, and then he was snoring about half the time during Last Jedi. He was just snoring.
That's hilarious.
I don't know nothing about this fluke Skywalker. I'm gonna take a nap.
It's Luke Stark.
No, they were avid. They looked like avid Star Wars fans, and yet the dude was still asleep. Probably because their leather recliners were so comfortable.
I live in a city of 8 million people, so it's kind of hard to see movies when they come out.
Yeah,
I don't doubt
same here.
that.
Yeah.
I also live in a big city, so
I
getting to
live
see
in-
Star Wars was tough.
I live in bumfuck New Mexico, so there's like... The theaters are always still jam-fucking packed here, is the
Yeah.
thing. Like, you
Where do
have
these
to go,
people
like...
come from?
I don't know.
They're like
Fucking-
roaches.
16, 17-year-old girls, apparently, according to statistics.
Damn.
But, I just got real for a second.
I didn't even hear that joke. I'm gonna pretend it didn't.
It's just fucking, like, it's full of people all the time. Like, you have to go third week, and then during the third week, the people who go to the movies aren't like me. They're not waiting it out so that they can have a better experience. They just only think about going to the movies once in a blue moon and go there and talk on their fucking cell phones and, like, chaw on their goddamn popcorn as loud as possible.
The theater going experience is shit, is what
I
we're
hate
getting
it.
to here.
I don't like going.
It's just awful, and I can't wait for theaters to die and just have it be home movies. That's okay with me.
At least you can go to the drive-in, and then you don't have you have your car. It's kind of hard for people to interfere with you when you're in your car.
Yeah.
So when you hop in your car to go to the drive-in, do you just go back in fucking time or what?
There
it
actually is
DeLorean?
No, there's a drive-in theater in my hometown that, although it recently closed like 2 years ago.
I was gonna say, how where's your hometown?
The 1950s?
Well, again, it was there. It used to have it was a 6-screen drive-in theater, and then
Shit.
one of them broke, and so they only had 5. And of course, the drive-ins only operate in the summer because
Yeah.
it gets fucking cold.
Freeze to death in the drive-in.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Is this in Seattle?
No, it was in my hometown, the small hometown I grew up in.
Well, everybody, now that we've discussed movies being terrible, we've talked about people's terrible opinions, and we even talked about the terrible ending of Jetman. Let's end our terrible podcast by saying goodnight to everyone.
Sleep tight.
Good night, everybody. Be sure to keep on pumping out those damn emails, because we'll read them and shit.
That should be
Max loves the emails, everybody, so send them in.
Everybody's New Year's resolution.
I drink that shit up
it's
like
gonna be
Coca-Cola.
It's going to be like January 14th when you're listening to this, but put out as many emails as you can. That should be your New Year's resolution.
And tell your friends.
Yeah. Tell your friends, tell your clergy to send
Your clergy?
to send in emails to writerclubradio@gmail.com and to listen to us on iTunes.
Also, tell your clergy to follow us on Twitter @WriterClubRadio. I'm sure your pastor will love us.
And it doesn't...
Unless you're Amish, then you probably don't have Twitter.
Your email questions don't even have to be about Writer. It could be about anything.
Ask us about The Simpsons.
Like the comics thing that...
yeah.
Ask us about Yu-Gi-Oh!
Sure, Yu-Gi-Oh! That's fine.
Ask Liam about Monster Hunter.
I know, I've only played one Monster Hunter game.
Oh man,
you can still ask him.
You guys gonna play that new one?
I might.
There's a new one?
Dude!
What year is it?
Wait, they still release
No, I'm
Monster
kidding. No,
Hunter
I've
games?
seen it. It looks fucking dope. Like, I was just thinking about Monster Rancher for some reason.
Oh!
I was like, what the fuck are they talking about?
Dude, that would be
you should
That'd be
also ask Liam
amazing if
about
there was a
Monster
new
Rancher.
Monster Rancher.
Like, Monster Hunter... Liam and I streamed Monster Hunter.
Yeah, we played Freedom Unite. Yeah.
Yeah, which was fun.
So good. I like that game.
I would like to personally thank both Max and Tomaz for joining our program and being part of it.
I would like to
from
thank
now on.
Jeff and Liam for not only the invitation, but the hospitality and friendship.
No problem.
We did let him sleep on the good corner of the warehouse.
The one that doesn't have any scorpions
What
in
is
it.
this alternate universe where this is like a business?
Shut the fuck! Don't you dare pull the curtain away!
That's called the real universe, Tomaz. You signed an NDA when you came in here.
Look, I'd like to thank everybody for listening as well, and we'll see you next month on Writer Club Radio.
Thanks, everyone.
Bye-bye.
Monsters rule.
映し出すディスプレイ考えることを忘れ Never ends 現在 Never ends フォーズ抜け出そうスタンダー吹けら Listen now 心の声 Yeah 鳴り響いて Say 気づかずとこ My way 戻れない on the freeway You go もうやめにできるなら Back in your life Hear my voice 聞こえる Right now 本物の強さとは自分のためにだけじゃなく差し出せるその手世に覚ませ Ride on right time Ride on the time 光放ちながら向かうなら見失うな卒はシャッターとして Ride on right time Ride on the time 真実感じゃない夢をほら触れた途端価値観常にチェンジ誰かのメッセージ Following 安心してるなんで New West 想像メリンレイ探し物はきっと Already have it そう胸に持ってること何もかも捨てた時消えずに